do take live calls while we're on the air. Of course, going to cover a lot of what Nick Shirley is reporting on in Spain in the beginning, but I have a lot of other things I'm going to cover as well. But Nick Shirley, the media won't even cover his reporting. And the reason they won't cover his reporting is some of it is because, they don't want this narrative out there because they have a false narrative that they want to promote. Another part of it is he embarrasses them. He does what they could do because they have the finances and resources to do it. Fox News, CNN, MS Now, they have the ability to send people over here to Spain and do coverage like Nick Shirley's doing, but they won't do it. And they won't do it for a number of reasons, but he makes them look bad, no doubt about it. Okay, let me look at the time. Okay, yes, 45 seconds and we'll be live on the air. So I'll open up the show on the radio and then I'll get into some more of these clips pretty quick because I have a lot to cover and we're going to cover a lot of things on the program this morning. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free and pinned in the live chat, all right? 888-465-2631. Remember, all opinions are welcome. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're watching. All right, less than 10 seconds. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We've got a lot of stories and a lot of issues to go through today. The last 24 hours have been some of the busiest 24 hours in the news cycle when it comes to political news in quite some time. So I've got a lot to cover. But what I'm going to start with is the great Nick Shirley has done an incredible investigative report from Spain. He went to the streets in North Africa, in Spain, and showed what was going on with these Moroccan Muslims that are overtaking the city. And in one clip, the Muslims are throwing bottles and rocks at Nick Shirley, and they chase him and his tour guide that he has with him down the street with a knife. And the Muslims are chasing Nick Shirley with a knife, and they're yelling, "I'm going to stab you." And Nick Shirley, he is one of the greatest investigative frontline reporters in history. In fact, I would consider Nick Shirley to be the equivalent of the wartime correspondents of the Second World War, like Ernie Pyle and others. And those were some real patriotic war correspondents during the Second World War. They were going in places that were very dangerous in combat zones without really any protection. And that's what Nick Shirley does. Wherever the story is, he goes. And he's risking his life all of the time when he does these reports. And when he went to Spain, I want to play some clips of it in just a few, so hang in there. When he went to Spain, he's got a couple of bodyguards that are unarmed because it's Spain. He's got a tour guide, and he's got his camera, a GoPro or something that he's got with him, and that's it. And he's out there, and he's being chased by hordes of Moroccan Muslims throwing rocks and bottles at him, chasing him with knives, yelling that they're going to stab him. And, the mainstream media in this country, Fox News, CNN, MS Now, they all have the finances and the resources to go over there and report, but they won't do it because it doesn't fit the narrative that the mainstream fake news are trying to promote, and that is that Muslims are good. Vote Ahmed in Michigan, right? Mamdani's great. Oh, yeah. They don't want to interfere with that narrative. Now, this first clip I'm going to play, this is really insane. It's total sacrilege. Nick Shirley is at a cemetery here, a Spanish cemetery here in Spain, and the Muslims are using the fountains over the graves to bathe in and wash their clothes in. Can you imagine? Disgusting. Listen.
Now we're at a cemetery, and here in the cemetery, you have a group of migrants who have taken the cemetery.
Now, again, this is a cemetery.
So this is quite literally where they're showering. They're using the cemetery to shower. Kind of a representation of what's actually happening here. The people died for this country, and now you have migrants that are showering on their graves. Kind of crazy to think about. You, as a man from Spain, see that migrants are now showering on the dead graves of people who died for Spain. How does that make you feel?
If my ancestors, these are my ancestors, these, all of them are my ancestors. If they wake up, they will say, this is insane, send them back immediately.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is really sad, isn't it? It really sad. Here you have they've taken over the city. They're desecrating the cemetery. My goodness, haven't they? Yeah, this I just cannot imagine what it must be like for people in this small Spanish town to be taken over by this mob of Moroccan Muslims, and now they're desecrating the graves of their families that are buried there. You know, this city has been a Spanish city for over 400 years. Now he's interviewing one of the Moroccan Muslims and a few of them, and there's subtitles for the Muslims, so I will tell you what the Muslims are saying. He says, I have no life in Morocco. I don't have work. I don't have money. He said he said they're going to leave the Spanish city here in North Africa and go to Europe. They're going to go to Europe. They're going to go to Romania, Russia. There's no work in Morocco, so they're entitled to be here. Madrid, they're saying we're going to go to Madrid. Another says we're going to Barcelona. Belgium, Brussels, Germany, Denmark, Holland. Yeah, I'm reading the subtitles to you from the Muslims. Why didn't women come? Women are in the house, he says. They're home in the house. Okay, now he's interviewing a local Spanish woman who's pushing a baby carriage. And I'll read the subtitles. She says, I felt threatened. I couldn't go outside with my baby. We couldn't go outside. I live up high, but my neighbor lives on the ground floor. And they were scared they were going to break into the house. It's dangerous. When they come in and rush, it is dangerous. Yeah, that's right. Because you've got wokesters. You've got liberal, globalist wokesters running your country. And wherever you have liberal wokesters, this is what you have. And it's very similar to what's going on in this country. Here's another clip. This is Nick Shirley. He's got a guide with him who's a Spaniard from Madrid who's giving him the tour.
Yes, an invasion is armed with weapons
An occupation.
They are not coming with weapons.
Unless you include the knives and the bottles and the rocks.
It's an occupation, for sure, for sure. The people from Ceuta, they couldn't even eat. They couldn't even go to the supermarket for 3 days. The people of Ceuta was suffering this situation. They couldn't go to the supermarket, they couldn't go to the pharmacy, they couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't go to the street. There was a lot of insecurity, a lot of big groups of guys hanging out in the street.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what's really frightening about this is there's no one there to help them. There's no one there to help them. Their own government is not there to help them, and and like so much of the world, it's an unarmed population where the people aren't allowed to own guns for personal protection like we are. And then last night, Nick Shirley went on Laura Ingraham and talked a little bit about this.
What happened after you were chased? Where exactly were you? Were there police or anyone there to help you?
Yeah, we ran down to the bottom of the hill because we were kind of on the top of the hill at that point.
Well, you know what? I looked at the clock. And listen, I got to take our first break. Wow, the show's going by fast. I'm going to take our first break, and when we come back, I'll play a clip of Nick Shirley on with Laura Ingraham last night. Welcome, everyone, to the program. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I want to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. Listen, you know, you don't want to be driving around on tires that are bald, that have the thread showing, that don't have enough tread on them, especially this time of year. It is rainy season. It rains every day. The roads are wet. And if you're driving around on tires without proper tread or bald, you hit the brakes, the car doesn't stop. And at Friendly Tire in Margate, the prices are so low, there's no excuse, okay? Now remember, the price that Friendly might quote you over the phone when you call for a quote is out the door and on the road, because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tires, or dispose of your old tires, and you can get brand new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. You heard me right. He's got thousands of used tires in stock as low as $35 a tire. That's out the door and on the road as well. And he also does tire repairs. Give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. We'll be back with more right after this. Okay, we're in radio break now. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. All right, and those of you out there that are Medicare recipients, no matter where you are in the United States, call Chapter. I'm going to give you the number in a moment. It's also on the screen right there. And if you call Chapter, totally for free, it costs you nothing, they will review your Medicare policy, and it'll be reviewed right there while you're on the phone by a licensed Medicare advisor. And since Chapter covers the entire United States, they have access to all the over 25,000 Medicare policies in the country. So they'll make sure that you have the right policy for you that covers whatever you need covered, right? Make sure your doctors, your prescriptions, your specialists are covered. And if you're paying for a supplement, they'll make sure you have the right supplement and you're not paying too much. They compare all of those plans to yours. Now, when they review your policy, if you have the right plan and the best plan for you, they'll tell you that as well. Give Chapter a call. The number is 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. That's 805-754-3033. All right, if you'd like to call in, we'll be back shortly, and I'll play the clip of Nick Shirley on with Laura Ingraham. But if you'd like to call in, please do. All opinions are always welcome, whether you agree or disagree. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. And the number is pinned in the live chat. And, you know, it's very important to see what's going on here in Spain. And it's important because of what's going on in this country, right? We have Muslims all over this country that are trying to get elected to the Congress, right? And people need to know what they are all about and what's going on. And it's a different civilization than the one you and I are familiar with, called the United States, all right? So if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back shortly. I'm queuing up a couple of things because I've got so much. Oh, yes, that's what I'm going to get into next. Okay, we'll get into that next after Nick Shirley. If you're on hold, hang in there. I will take your calls after the break. Well, let me see what time we're coming back. Okay, less than 2 minutes, about 90 seconds. Someone said falling down vibes. Yeah, I would say falling down vibes. It's what it is. It's what the guy from Madrid said. He says this is an occupation. Yeah, it is an occupation, and they are armed. Rocks, bottles, and knives are armed. They found bottles in the garbage, and that's a deadly weapon. So no, they are armed, and they're armed very well. And they're not afraid to use the rocks and the bottles or the knives. Pretty scary. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We've got 1 minute, and we will be back, and I will go to the calls. Yep, the number is pinned in the live chat. All opinions are welcome. 888-465-2631. Yeah, this is what socialism gives you, right? It gives your country away. They have been, they're being attacked, they're being invaded, and they're being occupied. And Spain they don't have the will or the ability to repel these invaders. They don't really want to, the government. They're like the leftists in this country, idiots. That's exactly what they are. They're complete idiots. And Nick Shirley is absolutely amazing. He deserves the Pulitzer Prize many times over for his incredible reporting, doesn't he? He does great work, great work. All right, hang in there. 10 seconds. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Wyatt Schaefer. I'm calling from Rochester, Minnesota.
All right, Minnesota. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind? I just wanted to say thank you for doing the show. You're doing God's work, and I wanted to say Nick Shirley's doing God's work, and I just wanted to say thank you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, poor Minnesota. I mean, Nick Shirley exposed all the Somali pirates in Minneapolis with their leering centers and everything else, and it was a big wake-up call to so many millions of people of what you've been suffering through in Minnesota.
Absolutely. It's absolutely terrible.
All right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call.
Yes, sir.
All right, take care. What a gentleman, huh? What a gentleman. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, man. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I got a question. Why did the guy go over there and mess with those people? No.
Why did what guy do what and mess with what? Can you be a little more specific?
The one that I can't think his name. The one that the
Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley.
Yeah.
Why did Nick Shirley do what?
Why did he go over there? You should say they attacked him. Why did he even go over there? He got nothing to do with
because that. He's a journalist, and there's a story over there, and he went to show the world what's going on.
Yeah, no, stay away from let the real journalists go do their job.
Well, none of them are over there.
Because it's not leave people alone.
Leave people alone. Well, so 60,000 Moroccan Muslims invade a Spanish town, and you're cool with that?
Fine. Let them deal with that. We got our own problems.
Well,
let them deal with that.
Their problem is our problem as well.
No, not every problem is. Let's take care of your house. Let's take care of our house.
No, the reason it's important. The reason it's our problem too is not that Spain's our problem, but we have a problem too with millions of Muslims that were brought here by Barack Obama that are up to no good. That last caller I just talked to before you from.
How do you know they're up to no good?
Are you familiar with the leering centers of Minneapolis that the Somalis have, the Muslim Somalis have? all the Medicaid
Right.
fraud that they're committing in
How do
Minnesota.
you know? Yeah, that white woman that was charged with that.
There
was
were
the victim of that.
Somalis as well charged.
There was that. So you're not talking about the white woman, but you're gonna talk about the Somalis.
Well, the Somalis are the ones that are the front men for this, and women for this criminal enterprise.
The white woman was involved with the ringleader, Brian. But
Yeah.
you're not going to say anything about that because
No, we want a Democrat. You're right, a Democrat white woman was involved. Yeah, sure.
Nah, it was a Republican white woman.
No, in Minnesota.
It doesn't even matter.
Hold on,
It doesn't even-
hold on a second, Doc. There are not Republicans, and Republicans are not in power. And well, it does matter.
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter that she's a Republican or Democrat.
Yeah, sure it does. The reason it matters is because Doc, excuse me, I'm speaking. All right. The reason it matters is because the Democrat Party. I've been talking about this for months. The Democrat Party is not a political party. It is now a organized criminal financial syndicate. They commit financial crimes.
And MAGA is a bunch of bootlicking Trump suckers.
Okay, what a brilliant comeback, I tell you. Oh man, he's just a brilliant wordsmith. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, you agree with me that Joe Biden is a rapist of America?
No, I don't agree with you. You're on the air. I don't even know who you are. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hi, Brian. Good morning. Real quick, it's Danielle from Michigan.
Hey, Danielle.
State of Michigan. That's
Yes.
going to be voting big today.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I just wanted to repeat what one of your callers said. God bless you and this wonderful show and the wonderful truth that you're giving all the American people. And I want to say God bless to Nick Shirley. I saw that. Absolutely unbelievable. And the one thing that we have to remember, Brian, and to all of your
hold your thought. My phones are ringing off the hook. So yeah, go ahead. What's the one thing we have to remember?
Yeah, we have to remember this, Brian. God bless President Trump. Because if President Trump did not win this election that was too big to rig, do you realize that our borders would be wide open?
Indeed.
And this is what we would be facing in this country.
Yep.
What a blessing. Thanks be to God that we've got President Trump. Everyone needs to wake up, and we need to watch what's happening in these other countries. People need to wake up and wake up fast. This is scary.
It is.
President Trump is here. And he's the best president ever. And people are going to really realize it, Brian, with everything that this man has sacrificed and what he's doing for this country that he loves.
Indeed.
And I just wanted
Well
to
said.
say that
Well
on
said.
this Thankful Tuesday. God bless.
All right. Take care. Yes. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Texas. Colin, how are you today?
All right, Texas. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm listening to all this stuff. The liberals talking about we shouldn't worry about that, but really we have a lot of mafia in Texas, and they're trying to take over Texas. I don't understand
Yeah, they are.
why they can't see that.
Yeah.
And then they call the people like expect me a bad name because I'm saying I'm not putting my kid in the sand and say no, let's just ignore it and pretend like that's not happening. It's happening right now in Texas, and I just wish people would be open their eyes and see what's going on because, they actually been here since 1969 in Texas doing a lot of mosques.
Well, when people, the Democrats have been trying to turn, Texas used to be a Democrat state until George W. Bush became governor.
I remember that.
When George W. Bush became governor, it became a Republican state. Ann Richards was the governor before GW, and she was a Democrat. And ever since, the Democrats have tried all kinds of schemes to turn Texas blue. They've all failed, but their latest scheme is to move as many Muslims as possible to Texas and form these Muslim communities and developments that they're building. And that's how they plan on turning Texas blue, is by bringing Muslims there. And it's happening right now.
I know that.
Yeah.
And I know that. And that's my major concern. I'm just really afraid that that's going to happen in Texas. And they did the same thing, the border. treat like when we had what Biden was administration, and we saw all the people go across the border and come in. A lot of Muslims came in. I don't even know how we're going to get able to deport them because it's really dangerous for our country.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
All right.
that's what I just wanted to say. But I heard the bad name Doc call us, but that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah,
That's
he's
okay.
out of it. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. You take care. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number's toll free, no matter where you're tuned in from. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be right back. Yeah, if you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat, guys. And if you could all like the video, that would be awesome. Now, if you'd like to support all of my content, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description. And if you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to a lot of exclusive content, commercial-free editions of my podcast, a lot of things that my wife and I both post there. We post nowhere else. But also my daily Patreon live streams. I have a live stream on Patreon. It's on the Patreon platform, and I talk about things that I cannot talk about here or anywhere else. And when you hear me on Patreon, you'll hear me talk about a lot of things you will never, ever hear me speak about anywhere else because I cannot. Now, there's a link in the description to my Patreon page, and when you go there, there's an option to become a free member. If you become a free member, you don't have access to any of the content. You don't even see it. You have to be a paying Patreon supporter, and that starts just at $5 a month. So become a Patreon supporter and get access to all the exclusive content and my Patreon-only live streams. Also, you don't just get access to the future content when you become a paying Patreon supporter. You get access to the entire back catalog, and there's a lot because I've been on the Patreon platform for many years. Again, the Patreon link is in the description of the episode. So we'll come back. I got a little bit more. I want to play a little bit of this exchange of Nick Shirley on Fox, and then I'm going to move on to some other topics, but you're certainly welcome to continue to call in about this story at 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are watching from. Okay, we have about 1 minute, and we will be back live on the air. We are in radio break right now. Yes, MAGA forever. That's right, MAGA for life. If you love Trump, press 1 in the chat, guys. If you love Trump, press 1 in the live chat. All right, we'll be back in less than a minute. All right. Yes, all numbers mean you love Trump. All numbers mean you love Trump. Yes. Any number you press means you love Trump, just so you guys know. Yes. All numbers mean you love Trump. Indeed. 30 seconds. Look at all that Trump love. Absolutely. Yep, whatever number you put in there means you love Trump. 20 seconds. Stand by. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. So Nick Shirley, he went to Spain. Here he is. I'll play a little bit of this. This is Nick Shirley on with Laura Ingraham last night on Fox.
What happened after you were chased? Where exactly were you? Were there police or anyone there to help you?
Yeah, we ran down to the bottom of the hill because we were kind of on the top of the hill at that point when we were getting chased, and then we saw a guy reach for his knife, and he said he was going to stab both of us, so we obviously ran as far as we could, and then we got to the spot, and it was funny, our car was parked like right next to where the guy was, where he tried to stab us, so we had to get in a police car and then have them drop us off so we didn't get stabbed or the guy didn't come after us again.
Well, there goes your camera. That's okay. Were you, was that a Moroccan? I mean, who was that guy? Were these migrants that were still hanging around, or who were these people?
Yeah, it was a group of people that were still hanging around. Some of the Moroccans that hadn't gone back yet. There's still thousands of people on this. It's basically like a little island because it's just this part of Spain that's just all by itself So,
Well, they think
yeah,
it's there.
that's what happens.
Yeah, they think it's there.
Yeah, but
right?
it's,
So and
they
there's a lot.
think
Look at
it's
how
theirs,
close
but it's
it
never
is.
been theirs.
Yeah, they think it's there. They think everything is theirs. New York City, Michigan, Minneapolis, the state of Minnesota, everything is theirs. Spain, it's all theirs. Oh my goodness. I tell you, Nick Shirley's amazing. And, when you think about it, when I compare him to those great correspondents of the Second World War like Ernie Pyle and others, he's right up there with them. He is a legend. And the rest of the media, I'm glad that Laura Ingraham had him on Fox, because the media don't want to cover what Nick Shirley's doing because he makes them look bad. Now, these primaries are going on now, and some of these Democrat socialists are going to win. And remember, Democrat socialism really is communism. It's a cover for communism. They are communist. All right? And Mamdani screwed up yesterday, which you would expect him to do. He's 34 years old. He's never had a job, never done anything in his life except get participation trophies from his millionaire mommy, who's told him how great he is. And he doesn't really know what he's doing. But he had a press conference at one of his commie grocery stores in New York, and he brought up the woman from his administration that's in charge of the commie grocery stores, and she dropped something that he didn't want out there. And there's a lot of concern because the prices apparently are so cheap, they say, at Mamdani's commie New York grocery stores, that they're afraid people are going to go in and buy a whole bunch of stuff and then resell it at a profit. And that whole idea of people making a profit is dirty to them. So this exchange is about people coming in, buying up all the merchandise and reselling it at a higher price. And that's what Mamdani's responding to. Listen. Oh, hold on. Let me cue it up here. He really walked into it, and then the way he tried to get control of this made it worse.
How are you going to keep people from taking advantage of that, that deal, basically? And is there going to be a limit on the number of items that someone can take that are discounted at that level from that essential basket?
So our RFP makes very clear that this is a program for New Yorkers to be able to put food on the table, not a program for people to be able to make a quick buck through reselling. I'm going to pass it over to our EDC head, Chief, to add some additional details.
Okay, now listen to what this lady says that he brought up.
We are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be a sort of a library card aspect, and also we manage who's buying and that is focused on everyday New Yorkers. So we are mindful of that, and so we're going to make sure that we have all the things in place to make sure that does not happen.
Okay, so this is, and I'll rewind it after I explain that part of it. You can hear it again. So he brings up, is she with the CCP? She looks like she's Chinese. Mamdani brings up the woman from the administration that's in charge of his commie New York grocery stores. And he says, oh, no problem. Don't worry about people buying too much and reselling it. And then she comes up and says, you're going to have to show ID to buy food here. You're also going to have to prove with that ID that you are a resident of New York City, or you can't buy food here. Now, there's a lot to talk about with that. Number one, no ID to vote and all of that, but you got to have ID to eat. So Mamdani is deciding who can eat, who cannot eat. Yeah, the power of food, right? He's deciding with his commie grocery stores who can eat, who cannot eat, and how much they can eat, right? So you're going to have some identification. She said library card-esque, right? So you're going to have some kind of ID, like a library card, and and you have to prove that you're a resident of the city of New York, and they're not going to let you buy too much. So say you go in, it's the first of the month, and you load up, and then your kids come home from school and they're hungry, they pig out, and you go back to the grocery store. You can't buy any more food. Mamdani said you are only allowed this many calories per month with your family. You have already bought all the food that Mayor Mamdani has allocated to you and your family. But wait a minute, it's only the 8th of the month. Yes, come back in September. You and your family are on a diet now. Mayor Mamdani has decided how much food you're allowed to eat. And you have already reached that number. It doesn't matter if we're only a week into the month. You need to learn how to ration the food that Kami Dami has decided that you're allowed each month. Come back next month if you haven't starved to death and buy some more food. But don't forget your ID to prove your residency in the city of New York. Oh my goodness. If that's not communism, I don't know what is. How is that not communism? And this was a disaster, and he tried to do some damage. So now that you've heard me explain it, listen, he's going to bring up his CCP grocery store handler.
A program for New Yorkers to be able to put food on the table, not a program for people to be able to make a quick buck through reselling. I'm going to pass it over to our EDC head, GPAC, to add some additional details.
Yes, if you're looking at RFP for the operator, we are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be a sort of a library card aspect, and also we manage who's buying and that is focused on everyday New Yorkers.
Wow. So you're going to have your library card. You got to prove that you're not just a New Yorker, you have to prove you're an everyday New Yorker. So now, Kami Dami here, Kami Mom Dami, is going to decide who's a New Yorker and who's an everyday New Yorker. Well, I mean, is this not communism? And you could be a New Yorker, I guess, by what she's saying, and not be an everyday New Yorker. But you're going to have an identification card that lets Mom Donnie know, because he's decided, what kind of New Yorker you are. So it's not good. You got to have your ID, not to vote. You don't need ID to vote. No. No ID to prove but you got to have ID to go to Mayor Mom Donnie's Kami grocery store. And that ID has to identify you, make sure that you're a legal resident of New York City, and make sure that you're not just a New Yorker, but this new class that Kami Mamdani has just come up with, a real New Yorker. That's right. And if you meet all of his criteria, you're allowed to eat.
A program for New Yorkers to be able to put food on the table, not a program for people to be able to make a quick buck through reselling. I'm going to pass it over to our EDC head, GPAC, to add some additional details.
Yes, if you look at our RFP for the operator, we are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be a sort of a library card aspect, and also we manage who's buying and that is focused on everyday New Yorkers.
So what is an everyday New Yorker? And how is that different than just a regular New Yorker? Right? There's everyday New Yorkers and there's New Yorkers. Does anyone know what the difference is, according to Mamdami's CCP girl here?
The operator, we are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be a sort of a library card aspect, and also we manage who's buying and that is focused on everyday New Yorkers. So we are mindful of that, and so we're going to make sure that we have all the things in place to make sure that that does not happen.
Okay, now that went viral yesterday because people are pretty scared. Well, wait a minute. Mamdani is going to tell me whether I can feed my family or not in his grocery store. And now we've got this new classification of everyday New Yorkers, which I'm not sure what that is. I thought this was supposed to help poor people. It doesn't sound like it's helping poor people. It sounds like it's something that Mamdani is putting together for the select that he determines are worthy to buy food in his grocery store. So then he went on Joy Reid last night on her podcast and tried to clarify what's going on here. So what he did is he lied.
We're talking about a city-run grocery store, one in each borough. By the way, you do not need an ID to shop at, no matter what you've just heard.
Well, we just heard it from your press conference with your girl that's in charge of the grocery stores, Mamdani, and she said you got to have an ID, and you've got to be a special kind of New Yorker to shop there, and also you can only buy a certain amount of food.
We're talking about a city-run grocery store, one in each borough, which, by the way, you do not need an ID to shop at, no matter what you've just heard the news of today. We're talking about actually addressing the question of skyrocketing grocery prices. We've seen in the last 6 or 7 years alone an increase in grocery prices of around 30%. And we are going to be delivering a city-run grocery store, one in each borough, 5 in total, that will have the staples of a shopping experience.
See, the staples. So what are the staples to Mamdani from Uganda? I remember him eating porridge with his fingers. Is that a staple? What are staples to you as an American, right? Milk, cheese, meat, not porridge. This is nuts. So he's going to decide what basic necessities you can have. And don't forget, you got to have that ID according to his CCP handler. And you've got to be not just a New Yorker, you've got to be an everyday New Yorker. Yeah, that's right.
6 or 7 years alone, increase in grocery prices of around 30%. And we are going to be delivering a city-run grocery store, one in each borough, 5 in total, that will have the staples of a shopping experience, an essential basket of goods that are discounted by 30% compared to typical retail prices. And that is something that New Yorkers will be able to feel in their pocket. They'll be able to save hundreds of dollars on an annual basis, knowing that the city is looking to actually deliver for them on something that is a non-negotiable in their life, which is healthy and accessible.
Yeah, and staples are so different for different people, aren't they? What's a staple in your house is not a staple in my house. And what grocery store do I need? I don't need ID at Publix. And you know what? I can buy as much as I want at Publix, at Walmart, at Aldi. Oh my goodness. So they're running around saying, it's socialism, not communism. No, this is communism. Maybe even fascism. When they control the food, they control the country. What's next? All right, callers on hold, stand by. We're going to take our last break of the first hour. Come back with more of your calls. The number is toll free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I want to talk about Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. You know, if you missed your tax filing deadline this year, or you have past years you haven't filed, don't worry. Call Jamie Levac. I'm going to give you his number in a moment, so get something to write with. He can take care of it for you. Even if you have years and years of unfiled taxes, he'll take care of it for you. He's got a direct line to the IRS. And you know what? He can help you with your taxes no matter where you are in the United States. And if you're in one of those states that has state income taxes, he can help you with that too. If you're a business owner, you can also call Jamie Levac. He can help you with your business taxes no matter how small or large your business is, even help you with your payroll taxes and everything, as well as your bookkeeping. If you owe money to the IRS, call Jamie Levac. He'll help you with that too. Even if you've already made a settlement agreement with the IRS, call Jamie Levac and he can help you with that too, maybe even renegotiate it. We had one listener who had a settlement agreement. He was making payments to the IRS. He owed them money. Jamie Levac looked and found out that he didn't owe the IRS money. In fact, the IRS owed him money, and he got a check back. One of our listeners. That's right. Give him a call, 954-773-1587. You can call or text Jamie Levac, by the way, at this number, 954-773-1587. That's 954-773-1587 for Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. We'll be right back. Call us on hold, stand by. We'll take a quick break.
What if you could understand the Bible as one complete story, from creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy? Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams, where Scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God revealed throughout the Bible. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution. And gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or have been reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Again, the link is in the description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now.
Yeah, by the way, there is a link in the description to that Bible study. It's a great Bible study. Click the link in the description and join it, all right? I got to play this clip during the break to make sure that it's okay to play on the radio. So hold on. Make sure this is Hong, who's running for governor in Wisconsin, the commie socialist up there.
I wasn't always aware of the struggles of other communities of color because proximity to whiteness continues, right? My son is biracial. He's half white and half Korean, and I think navigating, what his identity is and how people perceive him is always in the back of my mind as well.
Wow, she's a real sicko, racist. She hates her own kids' skin color. Here's another clip. I just want to make sure the language is radio safe.
Police officers enforce the law with state-sanctioned violence and then get excused for violating people's rights because they aren't expected to know the law. Minneapolis police spent nearly $5 million implementing trainings, increasing diversity, preparing to strengthen trade relationships between cops and communities. It didn't work. We have to dismantle police unions, end qualified immunity, and start funding social services that work with domestic abuse cases, family services, and public education. Our state needs to ensure resolutions and accountability boards where the decision-making power is in the hands of representatives of those communities. And each city should have local control of how they dismantle their police systems to build new community control systems rooted in preventative care and reducing harm. Defund the police, protect Black lives, and build a care community. This is what we need.
Okay, so no bad language there. There's one more clip, but I don't know if I have time to play it before we get back, so I might have to do it at the top because I don't have that one queued up. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Okay. Yeah, that one's okay. Let's see, there was one more clip of hers that I wanted to play. I've only got 40 seconds till we're back. Okay. Okay, the other one is text. Okay, we're good to go. We have 30 seconds. I'll go back to the phones. Oh, man. All right. 25 seconds, we'll be back. If you're on hold, I'm going to go to the phones when we get back. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free and pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. 10 seconds. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
IB.
Hey, IB, what's up? Yeah, okay, IB. I was telling IB he's got to get a better phone because his phone just is not very good, as often as he calls. Okay, so if you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Okay, so in Wisconsin, running for governor, they have Hong, who says she's from Korea. And I want you to understand that this is not a joke, what I'm about to say. Has she clarified which Korea she's from? South or North Korea? Because she talks like a North Korean. And these Democrat socialists, they're not just communist, they're racist too. And there's an old tweet of Hong, and she was married to a white man, and her child is biracial. So her child is white and Asian, right? And she posted on X back in 2019, listen to this, I ate 2 bites of my kid's cheeseburger at a Culver's in Black River Falls and told him they ran out of ice cream. Mostly just wanted to leave because I was on the verge of an anxiety attack. Too many old white people who didn't think we spoke English. Couple things here. Yeah, she's a racist. How does she know what these white people thought? Okay, were they conversing with her? But, she's racially stereotyping them. She sees white people, so she just assumes that they think she does not speak English. But she says she's on the verge of an anxiety attack because she's in the proximity of white people at Culver's. If that is not racism, I don't know what is. And then she lied to her child so she could get away from these white people. You see, I ate 2 bites of my kid's cheeseburger at a Culver's in Black River Falls and told him they ran out of ice cream. They have great ice cream, by the way, at Culver's. Mostly just wanted to leave because I was on the verge of an anxiety attack. Too many old white people who didn't think we spoke English. Holy moly. That's some pretty hardcore racism. And she talks about it more. Here she is on an interview. Hong, who's the Democrat Socialist candidate for governor of Wisconsin.
I wasn't always aware of the struggles of other communities as well. It's because for me, assimilation always kind of took over. And so I did marry. My proximity to whiteness continues, right?
My proximity to whiteness continues.
I wasn't always aware of the struggles of other communities as well, because for me, assimilation always kind of took over. And so I did marry. My proximity to whiteness continues, right? My son is biracial. He's half white and half Korean, and I think navigating, what his identity is and how people perceive him is always in the back of my mind as well.
Wow. So, and she's got some strong opinions on the part of him that's white. Her proximity to whiteness continues. And you know what's crazy is in her racist communist brain and in the communities that she travels in, proximity to whiteness is a legitimate fear. People have fears. I don't like heights. I have a fear of heights. Okay, I have a fear of heights. I don't like heights. That's why I went into this line of work and not firefighting. My father is a firefighter, and I wanted to be a firefighter, but I couldn't climb the water tower and rappel down it. I couldn't do it. I'm afraid of heights. So now I do this. Okay, But yeah, her proximity to whiteness continues, and she leaves Culver's because there's too many white people. Yeah, they do. It's custard, not ice cream, but it's very good. All right, and here she is on a Zoom when she was running for the state assembly, talking about the police. Okay. Now, do we know for sure she's Korean? It's important to know which Korea she's from, right? Do we know for a fact that she's from South, not North Korea? Okay. And also this, is she Korean or Chinese? Because she's talking like the CCP here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Nope, hold on one second here. Hold on. Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Renee from Harlem. I see you trying your racist tricks a lot.
Hey, Renee. Hey, Renee. Take care. Have a great day. All right. Same call every time he calls. It's get some new things to say. Now, there's you may have noticed there's a lot of focus on Hong here, but I'm serious. Is she North or South Korean? This is an important distinction. And also, is she Korean or Chinese? Do we really know? Because the way she's a communist, she's one of the stars of the Democrat Socialist movement, which is really a front for communism. We know this, on top of her racism and all of this stuff. Now, the reason we're hearing more of her than a lot of these other people is because she's been all over social media for years, right? She's been very active on social media. And because of that, she's saying a lot of things. Most of these people, like Ahmed, although I got something on him too. Do I have time for it? Let me see here. Yes. Yeah, Ahmed, who's the Muslim guy running as a Democrat socialist for the Senate in Minnesota. There's a new recording of him that I came across this morning that is from 2018, and I know that a lot of Gen Z will say, oh, that's so long ago, 2018, 2019. No, that was like yesterday, man, okay? Okay, so here's Ahmed from Michigan in 2018 on Detroit Public Television. Okay, so he wants to give illegals driver's licenses, which is illegal. He went and this is what they're sending to the Senate. And he looks a lot different in 2018. He's lost a lot of weight since then, but that is him. And he's gone more mainstream and hipster. He had a party last night that Hassan Piker was the main guest at his party. You know, the one that said we deserve 9/11. Yeah, that's who he parties with. So this what you've heard here. Kami Mamdani in New York, Ahmed and Hong, who were trying to figure out if she's South Korean, North Korean, or maybe even Chinese. And what I wonder is Hong, I don't know, I'm not an expert, is Hong a Chinese name or a Korean name? Because when I think of Hong, I think of Hong Kong Phooey, and that's Chinese. And Hong Kong, that's Chinese. So I don't know, but she... this is the face of Democrat socialism. It is really racist and communism, no doubt about it. Okay, callers on hold, don't go anywhere. We'll take our break for the top. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this top of the hour break. Now, guys, I want to tell you about Chapter. If you're a Medicare recipient, you want to call Chapter. Chapter will review your Medicare policy. They'll do it right over the phone. A licensed Medicare advisor will do it, and it costs you nothing. And they're going to make sure that you have the right policy for you. Chapter covers all 50 states, so they have access to all of the over 25,000. Can you believe there's that many? There's over 25,000 Medicare policies out there. Chapter has access to all of them. They'll review your policy, compare it to the over 25,000 others. They'll do it quickly over the phone and make sure that you have the right policy, the one that's best for you, that covers your doctors, your specialist, your prescription medications. And if you're paying for a supplement, they'll make sure that you're not paying too much for that supplement, and even if you really need that supplement. Call Chapter right now. You'll speak to a licensed Medicare advisor for free. It costs you nothing. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. That's 805-754-3033. All right, let me see. I got to get the ads for the rest of the show. Okay. And then we've got that, and that. Okay. All right, I'm getting everything organized for the rest of the show, guys. Yeah, give them a call. We'll be back in just a quick couple of minutes, guys, so hang in there.
What if you could understand the Bible is one complete story, from creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy? Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams, where Scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God revealed throughout the Bible. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution, and gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or have been reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link with all your description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now.
All right, we're still in radio break, but there is a link to that Bible study in the description of the video. Check it out. It's a great Bible study, and the link is in the description, okay? When we get back, I'm going to get into this Max Miller thing, okay? And Max Miller is being accused of abuse by his ex, and I want to go through this. And it involves Senator Moreno, who was pretty awesome during the Fauci hearings, okay, from Ohio. But I want to go through this story and ask a couple of questions about this, because everyone's talking about Max Miller. So I'm going to go through the story, and let's find out what he's being accused of and what, if anything, should be done about it, okay? And I'll also take your calls, but this Max Miller story is just all over the place. Okay, we have about 35 seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening, all right? Yes, yes. Okay, 15 seconds. Stand by. All right, we are back. It's Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. I've covered a lot. You're welcome to call in about anything that I've covered so far. I'm going to take some calls, and then I'm going to move on to some other stories. But you're welcome to call in about anything I've brought up so far on the program at 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. It's Richie.
Hey, Richie.
Remember I called you the other day and I said to you, Brian, this was the Morocco and Spain have given the United States the greatest gift in the world.
Yeah, it's true.
By this invasion, because we actually could, with our own eyes. But then suddenly the mainstream media that was a story for about 5 hours, and you don't see it anymore. And then they attacked Nick Shirley. And then you got a guy like Doc from Texas, this moron. And I'm sorry, he's a moron. All you hear him say is, Brian, you got to leave them people alone. Leave them people alone. What are you doing over there? Well, idiot from Texas, just take a look at Dearborn, Michigan. Go ahead and look at it. And go look at New York City, by the way, because in New York City, they actually claim they took the city over, and they're in the middle of 42nd Street with their prayer, and they block the Bronx, they're blocking everything. And it's not just the fact that the only reason they're not as violent in this country as they are in Morocco, as they are all over the Middle East, as they are in Europe with the stabbings, that the press over there tries to hide too.
Richie, I don't know about that. We've had these honor killings. We've had the trade towers knocked down. The Pentagon got hit. That plane in the field in Pennsylvania. Yeah. I wouldn't say they're not violent. You know, there's been a lot of violence.
No, they're violent here too. Don't get me wrong, but what I'm trying to say here is they use the excuse of the white supremacy and that we're all racist. You got the idiot that calls you every day. You know, the only word out of his mouth from New York is "You're a racist. You're a racist." Mm-hmm. Jay from Jersey or whatever. Both of them. You got two idiots there calling you up. But the fact of the matter is that being Christian or Jewish, and that's another thing. You go in Dearborn, Michigan. I just saw something where they were that guy. He's Jewish. Feldman. He's a young reporter. He went in there and he's showing. He says you wouldn't even know you're in your own country. The grocery stores, the whole city is infested, and when he asks them about the election, they all say AIPAC. Yeah, it's Jew hate. Yeah, it's all Jew hate. Yeah, and so they managed to get the liberals have managed to get these Muslim terrorists and communists and Jew haters to combine into a movement, and it allowed us.
Well, the movement is much smaller than you. It's getting too much publicity. I mean, by all of us, by the mainstream media, by me. But I think it's important to. I'm not just giving them a free ride. I'm exposing them, and they have to be exposed. But go. You're complimenting me, so go ahead. I don't want to interrupt that.
No, you happen to be not a lone wolf, but you are great. You are greater than great because you're putting out there what the mainstream media won't, and all they have to come back at you is not a discussion of what's really happening, but that you are a bigot and a racist. That's all they.
Well,
have.
that's what they try to use to shut you up. You know, oh, you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're an Islamophobe, you're this phobe, you're that, to try to shut you down. But I got news for you. You know, these primaries are going to happen, right? And a lot of these Democrat socialists are going to win the primaries. Ahmed in Michigan is going to win the primary, and what the media are going to do is act as if they won the general election, which they did not. So it's going to be blown so out of proportion. They're going to have a big victory parade for this Ahmed guy.
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is, Ahmed's only getting elected because Michigan didn't volunteer, but the city of Dearborn was taken over. I don't know what the population is, but it's 100% in back of the Muslim. Every Muslim votes Muslim, and unfortunately, I saw Erin Molin's show. I guess you've seen her, where they had an actual moderate Muslim that said that there was an invasion. It's a takeover, and these people will get to Europe, and they will.
Well, they're already in Europe, what's happening is this Spanish town in North Africa it's like the new Gaza. It's a launching pad into mainland Europe.
That's where D-Day was in World War II. We stormed the beach. There's no difference. They didn't storm. They weren't shot back at.
Yeah.
This is an invasion that's been welcomed by the president, by the prime minister and he's such a commie, and the rest of Europe is very upset because they see what's coming at them and they can't stop it because they have laws there that I guess if you're in Europe you could go wherever you want. You don't have to, you can't be stopped at the borders. So once they're in, they could go where they want, and they actually said they're going to be going all over the place. They mentioned you just played that tape. So is this fear mongering? Yes, it is, folks. It's because they don't assimilate. Just look at Dearborn, Michigan. That's all you have to do. That's the United States of America. And I'm not talking about a little neighborhood like Little Italy, that Italian, Irish neighborhoods. They took a whole city.
Yeah.
It's not just a neighborhood. It's a whole city.
That's
and
true.
Once they get it, you said this guy's going to win in Michigan. Well, that's because when you get enough of the group coming in, and they're not, a lot of them are not citizens. They don't speak a word of English, and they're going to be voting. All they know is vote for Abdul.
That's correct. That's correct.
What was the guy that said in his speech that, this guy from Michigan that said Abdul is one of the biggest names now. It's Richard, it's Brian, it's Jeffrey.
He said, I played that on my podcast over the weekend. I don't think I played it yesterday, but Abdul said that Abdul is one of the most American names out there.
Now, I'm for immigration. But you have to come in this country and say, I want to be an American. You don't want to keep your Sharia law, and you don't want to go, like, you move into for example, you move into an all-white neighborhood, and then you say, I feel very uncomfortable because it's of the whiteness.
Yeah.
What did you come here for?
Yeah, her proximity, it's her proximity to whiteness. That's what she's worried about. Her proximity to whiteness is a problem for her.
You are great for exposing this crap. You have a platform that people listen to.
Yes.
And folks, Brian is telling you 100% the truth. This is not fear-mongering, and this is not being a racist. This is telling you because you know why? I'm letting everyone know that these people have openly said we're taking it over. They said they got New York now. That was their first thing I got on a microphone and said we have conquered New York.
Yeah, that's right.
It's outrageous.
All right, Richie, I'm going to move on, but I appreciate the call, all right? You take care. Yeah, I'm trying to find this clip of Ahmed. I played it over the weekend. I wanted to play it for you guys. I'll find it before the end of the show, I'm sure, because I played it over the weekend on my podcast, and now I can't find it, but I'll see if I can find it to play for you. Oh, here it is. Okay, found it just in time. So listen to this. This is Abdul, and this is at a recent campaign event, right? This is for his Senate campaign. Listen to what Abdul says. Abdul is one of the strongest American names. To me, it seems like everybody I know is either named Steve Mike, Michael, Barry, Brian, Robert, Bob, Joe. I've never known an Abdul in my entire life.
Abdul is as American as any other name in this country. It's one of the strongest American names that you can have. Again, my name is Abdullah Hamoud. Thank God I am not on the ballot, but I hope you all come out and make sure that you vote in the next 4 days. Now put your hands together and help me welcome one of the newest Congress members headed to D.C. to hold it down, Dr. Adam Hamawi.
Hamawi, I don't know. Is that one of those strong American names too? Abdul is not an American name, but in his world it is. See, I told you, when these communists, when they come to take over a country, they change the language, they change the history, they change the story. All right, I want to talk about Sloman's, Sloman's Central Air Conditioning. This deal that Sloman's is offering on a new air conditioning unit is the best deal I have ever heard the entire time I've lived in the state of Florida, which is almost my entire life, when it comes to air conditioning. Listen to this. Sloman's Central Air Conditioning offers a high-efficiency, 5-ton, 18-SEER system that uses R454B refrigerant for just $59.99. That's an incredible deal, isn't it? And listen to this. Just $59.99, zero down, zero payments, and zero interest for 18 months. Your new system comes with a 5-year bumper-to-bumper service plan, which includes annual system maintenance, filter replacements, and refrigerant. So there's no annual maintenance cost. Plus, you'll also receive the Sloman Shield home security system installed with 5 years of professional central station monitoring included with your AC package. Give Sloman's a call right now, 561-217-COOL. That's COOL. 561-217-COOL. 561-217-COOL. All right, it's the Steve Kane Show. Callers on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is insane to me. I mean, I've never heard anything like that before. That Abdul is one of the most American names? I don't think so. Not in my book. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, guys, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for a simple way to bring more wellness into your everyday life? You can do just that with Beta Life, your trusted source for premium wellness products inspired by natural living and timeless traditions. From beautifully crafted copper water bottles, copper mugs, to eco-friendly cork yoga mats and wellness accessories, every product is thoughtfully selected to support a healthier lifestyle. Complete your self-care routine with Beta Life's Elegance Bronze Tools, designed to help you relax, refresh, and rejuvenate. Whether you're building a wellness routine or searching for that perfect gift, Beta Life offers quality products you'll enjoy for years to come. They ship worldwide, too, making it easy to experience premium wellness wherever you are. Follow Beta Life on Facebook and Instagram at Beta Life CA. That's VEDA. And visit them online at betalife.ca to explore the complete collection. That's betalife.ca, where wellness meets quality. betalife.ca.
All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back shortly. And if you guys could do me the favor of liking the video, I'd appreciate that. When you guys like the video, it helps so much because it gets the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So please take a moment to like the video if you don't mind. And if you're new, welcome. And please subscribe. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free. It's pinned in the live chat. All right? It's toll-free no matter where you are watching. And all opinions are welcome. Whether you agree or disagree, you're welcome to call in. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are located. We'll be back in less than 1 minute. So if you're on hold, hang in there. And thanks, everyone, in advance for liking the video. I'm going to get into... After the break, I'm going to get into this story with Max Miller. But you're welcome to call in about anything I have brought up so far on the program, okay? We have a little more than 30 seconds. The show's flying by. We are like at the halfway point. I don't know where the show went. Just like boom, like a blink of the eye. It sure is. All right, welcome back, everyone. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. The show's flying by, and I'll tell you, the show today, you know why it's going so well, why the show's flying by? I'm wearing one of my special MAGA hats. Yeah, I have a handful of MAGA hats that I call my hats of wisdom, and I'm wearing one of my hats of wisdom now. It's a Make America Great Again hat. And what my special MAGA hats that I have, that are the hats of wisdom, are the hats that President Trump has seen with his own eyes up close and personal. And President Trump has gazed upon this very hat almost as close as I am to this microphone that I'm talking into right now. And I feel like when I wear one of my MAGA hats that the president has seen with his own eyes, that some of his wisdom has been left on the hat by his gaze. And it just seems to me that when I wear one of these Make America Great Again hats that the president has gazed upon with his own eyes in person and up close, the shows are always better that day. It's kind of like that episode of Star Trek, Spock's Brain. Do you remember that? Where McCoy put that thing on his head and could do brain surgery. Remember that? That's what it's like. And I have a couple of these I wear on the show. And then, of course, I have my autographed MAGA hat that is in the safe deposit box at the bank that was only available to donors. I got mine free because at Mar-a-Lago, but only donors could get it. And the hat is valued at $45,000. And I did wear that, and the president looked at that one as well. But that's a family heirloom that is in at the bank safe deposit box, and I don't wear it. But this hat is one of those. Now, before I want to get into this Max Miller story, before I go back to the phones, because everyone's talking about it, our Congressman Max Miller and these accusations against him. Also, I just, today, I wasn't going to reveal this, but what the heck, I'll read. Today, when I get off the air, I'm going to the gun store. I might buy a rifle today, and my wife and I have wanted a 12 gauge for years, and I've never bought one. And my wife was looking online, and she saw some videos where people were getting their house broken into, and they're on the other side of the door in their living room watching them. They're on the phone to the police, but they're watching them through the doorbell camera. And and it's one thing if we're in the living room with our Glock or our 38. It's another thing if you ratchet up if there's someone on the other side of the door breaking in, or there's an intruder in the house, and you grab that 12 gauge and you ratchet it, it's much louder than that. When the bad guy hears that noise, he's going to run for the hills. Now you're not supposed to do that because you spit out a shell when you do that. But that noise alone will probably stop you from having to fire the weapon. And we've wanted to get one for years. And what really inspired this is over the weekend, I was telling my wife yesterday, over the weekend, I'm going to the gun range with some friends of mine who go on our MAGA cruises. And we're all bringing our guns. And I was telling my wife what they're bringing. And my one friend, he's bringing his AK-47. I'm not going to say their names because they may not want people to know what weapons they have, But one guy, he's bringing his AK-47. Another guy's bringing his AR-15. And I'm bringing my Glock 48 and my 38. And my wife is like, those guns are going to look kind kind of wimpy next to that AK and that AR-15. She says, you need to go, it's time to go get the 12 gauge, okay? So, but I have so much ammo for the Glock and the 38. I want to use it. But so this morning I'm going to go to the gun store and look at the 12 gauges, and maybe I'll buy one. I don't know. But if you hear that, you know, once if you ratchet that that 12 gauge, and the bad guys in your house, they're gonna jump through the window to get out of the house, because they know if you defend yourself with your 12 gauge, that's it, right? So a 12 gauge is a great weapon. Maybe you should have two, one in the living room, one in the bedroom. I don't know, but we'll start with one. Oh my goodness! I haven't had I haven't fired a 12 gauge in a long time. But when I was younger, I used to go hunting. We used to use a 12. I do have a couple of rifles that were my grandfather's, but when he was a kid. But they're 22s, and you can't defend yourself with those. I had a friend that I went to high school with, and it was a friend. He was in my classes. He was a nice guy, but he was a gangbanger and a crack dealer. You know, I went to Strahan High School in Fort Lauderdale in the 80s, okay? It was like being in a prison. And he got shot by a 22 on 441 and Broward Boulevard. This was in the 80s. He got shot in the stomach by a 22. And he said when he got shot with the 22, the hole sealed up and only one drop of blood came out. He walked to the emergency room. And this would, I guess it would have been Broward and 441. It had to be Plantation General, which is off of 441. He goes to the emergency room and says, I got shot. They said, where? He pulled up his shirt and showed him. They told him to go sit down and wait. So, you know, and when your house gets broken into, the guy that's doing it is so hopped up on adrenaline and probably drugs that the 22s ain't going to get it. And you know, and the Glock 48 and the 38, you know, I got those as concealed carry weapons, you know, because the 38 I have is an ultralight with no hammer. So, you know, it's a great concealed carry because the hammers can grab onto your, you know, caught on. So it has no hammer. It has an internal hammer. And the Glock 48 is a 9mm, and the Glock 48 I got is a carry weapon too. The Glock 48 is thinner than your average Glock. It holds 10 rounds. So it's not, you know, it's not as wide. It's a great concealed carry. But there's better things to get for home protection. And I think the 12 gauge is the ultimate in home protection. Don't you guys? So I know some people told me a 10 gauge. I've only fired a 10 gauge maybe once. But my main thing is I want it when you ratchet it to make as much noise as possible. As loud as possible to scare the person. But anyway, after the bottom of the hour, if you're on hold, stand by. After the bottom of the hour break, I want to get into Max Miller because there's a lot to talk about with that, and I have some important questions to ask you about that. But first, I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. You know, Coastal Weight Loss Secret has changed my life because I lost a lot of weight, and I lost a lot more than my target weight. My target weight was 25 pounds. And the reason it was 25, I'd never been on an official diet before, and that seemed like a lot of weight, and I didn't think I could do it, you know, because I always hear people have, you know, they can't. Well, Coastal Weight Loss Secret, you can do it. I did it, and I lost 25 pounds in 3 weeks. And I remember that day, I went to see Dr. Zuckerman over at Coastal Weight Loss, and he says, well, what are you looking to lose weight for? And I said, we have our MAGA cruise coming up, and I'd like to lose some weight because we go to the beach and the beach resorts and all of that. And I'm going to be in a swimsuit and everything, and I want to lose some weight. He said, when's the cruise? I said, it's in a month. He said, how much do you want to lose? I said, 25 pounds. He said, no problem. I said, Doc, I said, 25 pounds. He says, yeah, no problem. You'll lose that. You'll lose that. Don't worry. You got it. And sure enough, I lost 25 pounds in 3 weeks. And I kept losing after that because it was so easy, without exercise, eating foods I would normally eat, without starving myself, and also without any shots, pills, or injections. And I've kept the weight off for a long, long time. I haven't gained a single ounce back. And what I've come to learn with Dr. Zuckerman and Coastal Weight Loss Secret is that Dr. Zuckerman reset my metabolism. And Coastal Weight Loss Secret, they're known as the home of the metabolic reset. And I saw that and I knew that and I saw it on the literature and everything, but I didn't think too much about it because I'd never been on a weight loss program before. But that's what Dr. Zuckerman did. He actually reset my metabolism. And that's why I haven't gained the weight back. And you know what? You can lose the weight and you can keep it off with Coastal Weight Loss Secret Metabolic Reset. Give them a call and schedule your no-charge consultation right now. 561-359-3418. 561-359-3418. That's 561-359-3418. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. Back after this. Okay. Hang in there, guys. Hang in there. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. And if you'd like to call in, the number's toll free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I wanted to get into this Max Miller case because, we're on the eve of a primary, and they've come up with a scandal, and I want to go through the scandal, and I got a couple of questions I want to ask you. hold on a second here. Okay. So I want to ask you a couple questions about this scandal, okay? Because Max Miller is the ex-son-in-law of Senator Moreno, and Senator Moreno, he's the one that did such a great job last week in the Fauci hearings. He says, who the blank do you think you are, and all of that. And of course, I like him, I like Moreno, but these family issues. So let me go through this a little bit, and I have some questions. This is on Max Miller. They're trying to get him to drop out of the race on the eve of the primary and plug somebody else in. This is from Fox News. A bitter family feud is spilled into Congress after Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio, that's the guy that who the blank do you think you are to Fauci last week, called on his former son-in-law, Representative Max Miller, to resign, accusing the fellow Ohio Republican of abusive behavior and saying he possesses a danger to Moreno's daughter and granddaughter. Senator Moreno's extraordinary statement on X Sunday marked the latest escalation in a years-long family clash that has spilled from a conscientious divorce, or conscientious, it's early, guys, a contentious, conscientious. If they were conscientious, they wouldn't break up the family and get divorced. It's a contentious divorce. Oh, man. Live radio, people. Live radio. Okay. Moreno's extraordinary statement on X Sunday marked the latest escalation in a years-long family clash that has spilled from a contentious divorce into national Republican politics. Miller is a Republican congressman endorsed by President Trump, and he was married to Senator Moreno's daughter. Their divorce and ongoing custody battle have increasingly played out in public, culminating Sunday with Moreno's call for Miller to leave Congress just days before tomorrow's Ohio deadline primary to replace him on the ballot. Okay, and there's now some other details on this, not in the Fox story, but this story is being written about all over the place. Let me pull this one. This is from CNN. See if they give us some more information. Allies of Donald Trump are pushing the president to encourage Max Miller to drop his re-election bid, according to 4 sources familiar with the matter, amid claims of domestic abuse from his ex-wife and pressure from his ex-father-in-law, Senator Moreno. Concerns have grown about Miller's electability. Some top House Republicans have phoned White House officials asking for help. One of the people told CNN, those members specifically want Trump to ask Miller to drop out before the approaching deadline, which is tomorrow, to replace him on the ballot. CNN says Trump has privately told some allies he doesn't believe Miller can win the race, given the accusations, and that he should drop out. One source familiar with the internal conversation told CNN. And this is CNN, so I'm not so sure about that. Somebody in Trump's orbit is telling CNN anything. I question that. Miller insisted in a statement yesterday he would not drop out. He said this, if I dropped out of this race, it would mean we as a nation have fallen so far from our American values. I will not validate false claims by removing myself just to please the court of public opinion. I am innocent of all the allegations. I have done well representing my constituents. Over the weekend, Senator Moreno said that his ex-son-in-law should not serve in Congress. Some in Trump's inner circle have said the senator waited so long to directly condemn Miller, worrying it may now be too late. I wish he'd come out against this guy sooner, says one Trump advisor to CNN. Moreno wanted to speak out against Miller months ago, but was asked by his daughter not to, according to 2 sources familiar with the situation. One source close to the senator said his daughter didn't want the couple's daughter reading about her grandfather attacking her dad one day. That person said the senator felt he could no longer be silent after Miller on Sunday posted a 20-minute live stream in which he said his ex-wife had significant mental health challenges. There's a 2-fold deadline for Miller to drop out and take his name off the ballot, according to the Ohio Secretary of State. If Miller were to withdraw prior to the close of business today, a special primary would be held to fill the vacancy. However, were he to withdraw from the race after that Tuesday deadline, party leaders could have a narrow window to replace him. Trump told reporters in the Oval Office Monday he believes Miller is a very good person and that he's going to let the families figure that out. This is the president talking. Those families, I know they're working on it. It's a very sad thing, especially when you know somebody so well to be going through that. But it's accusations, the president said. The controversy surrounding Max Miller, who represents a district in eastern Ohio, threatened to jeopardize his chances of winning what was once thought to be a safe GOP seat. Miller married Moreno's daughter at the Trump National Golf Club in Jersey in 2022, that same year that he was elected to Congress. They had a daughter in 23. The next year, they filed for divorce, which was finalized last year. The daughter accused Miller of multiple instances of domestic abuse. In police videos obtained by CNN, Moreno described the abuse allegations, including an incident in which she said he held a gun to her. The February interviews were part of a police investigation into how Miller and Moreno's toddler daughter suffered a broken collarbone. No charges were filed. She filed a request in court to reopen their custody agreement in March, while Miller filed a defamation case against his ex-wife. In an interview with CNN in June, Miller denied the allegations of abusing his ex-wife and vowed to fight to clear his name. He said the gun incident never happened. He stores guns in a locked safe. The ex-wife's attorney said that and it goes on. Okay, so I think we got enough, okay, the accusations. If they're true or not, I don't know, okay? This is what I do know. When people are getting divorced, especially when there is a child involved, people say crazy things and make insane accusations. People get psychotic during divorces on both sides, and they get nuts, and they say all kinds of things. And and those of you out there, you've known people that have gotten divorced, right? People say nutty things, they get crazy, they act out of character, they run their mouth, and then oftentimes years later they recant everything, right? This is a he said, she said. And this gun incident, that one I'm suspect of. Because if someone, I'll tell you this right now. Moreno, and I don't blame Senator Moreno, it's his daughter, and you're going to defend your kids no matter what till the end. I get that. I would do the same thing. But I'll tell you this. If my daughter was in a relationship, I don't care if they were married, divorced, have a child together, and the person she was in a relationship held a gun to her, I would go to the house and call the police myself and wait for them. And I would force an investigation. I would never let charges not be pressed in a case like that. That's just me, okay? And I think a lot of you probably agree with me on that. So the fact that, divorces can get ugly beyond imagination. The fact that they didn't go after charges with this gun allegation makes me suspect of them, okay? And also this, Max Miller, he's got the Trump endorsement and is MAGA. And it does seem to me that there's a play here to stop a MAGA Republican from getting elected, right? It sounds like they're using this divorce and this custody battle and these allegations to try to stop a MAGA Republican from getting elected. And you plug in another candidate this close to the primary, what chance do they have of winning? Nobody knows who they are. They haven't campaigned. It's not good. So, I mean, the whole thing's a mess. There's no good solution here. But I'd like to ask you what you think. It looks like the president's standing by Max Miller. He says he's going to let the families decide. So what are your thoughts on that? Should he drop out? And who are they going to plug in? Some rhino Republican establishment uniparty hack? It sounds like a power play to me, and things are getting really nasty in Ohio. After the break, I'll give you an example of something else that just happened over the weekend in Ohio that shows you the rhinos of Ohio are making a move to stop MAGA. And this sounds like an example of that. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm gonna take this break early, and we'll be on schedule for the rest of the show. But we're going to take our break. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number is toll free 888-465-2631. Do you believe Max Miller? Do you believe the wife? And doesn't this pull the gun on her and she didn't no charges? Doesn't that seem odd to you? And we all know how ugly, nasty, and insane people get during divorces. I'd like to hear your thoughts. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. Okay. All right, and we are back. It's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Brian, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. What do you have for us this morning?
Well, one thing, I was looking at the schedule for football, and I noticed that the first preseason game, the Hall of Fame game, is coming up on Thursday night. So here we are, beginning a new football season. And I'm a native South Floridian. I'm from Miami, so I grew up a Miami Dolphins fan. Doesn't look like I'm going to have much to cheer about this year. You never know, but very unlikely. But the point I'm making is, as a Dolphin fan, I grew up with one of the greatest, if not the greatest, head coaches, the great Don Shula.
Absolutely.
And thinking about Don Shula, and I promise there's a connection here. Speaking of the great Don Shula, one of the things that his teams were known for was being prepared.
Oh, yes.
That team was never going to be beaten because the other team was better prepared. So the important point for all of us to take from this is we need to be prepared. We never know what's going to happen. I had some folks that came in the other day for some to discuss some estate planning. The husband was ill, had some cancer and all that, and they actually still held off to make some decisions about what they wanted to do. Like 2 days later, he has a stroke and now in hospice, and you never know what's going to happen, and unfortunately, they may or may not be able to achieve what they needed to achieve because they waited.
Yeah.
So again, not that any of this is going to happen to anybody listening here, but you never know what's going to happen today, tomorrow, and you want to be prepared. And that's why it's so important to have an estate plan, setting one up that's going to work and setting one up that's going to have a plan like we do at the Siegel Law Group to make sure it's going to stay up to date because we do the free reviews every 3 years.
Yeah, and so, sometimes, like you talk about stroke as an example, you can find yourself in a situation where you're no longer legally able to sign documents. And that's when things get complicated, right, Barry?
Yeah, if you don't have your legal capacity to make decisions, to understand things, then you certainly can't sign. So
exactly. Sure. Listen, give the Siegel Law Group a call. Make sure you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the program so you can take advantage of the no-charge in-office consultation. The number is 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com, and Siegel is spelled S-I-E-G-E-L, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk soon.
All right, thanks, Brian.
All right, take care. Yeah, so these rhinos are making and Democrats, but these rhinos are making a big move in Ohio. Something happened over the weekend. I cannot play you the audio because of the language. I played this on my podcast on Friday afternoon. So if you guys listen to my podcast on YouTube or on one of the podcast platforms, you can hear it all. But the language, if I put beeps in it, it would just be beep. So it's not, you know what I mean? But the rhinos are on the move in Ohio, and J.D. Vance, who is expected to be the second MAGA president, of course, because he's the vice president. I know we all love Marco Rubio, but, he's the vice president. He could get passed over. They passed over Biden, right, for Hillary. But they lost that year. But anyway, there were other factors there. So the Max Miller being MAGA and these things coming up are just odd to me and suspicious, especially what happened to Vivek Ramaswamy on Friday. Vivek Ramaswamy is running for governor in Ohio. He is doing incredibly well. And you may have seen a story that went really viral over the weekend, but so much has been going on with Iran and other things, it died off before Monday from the news cycle because I haven't seen it since Saturday. But Vivek Ramaswamy, who is well in first place in Ohio, he's been running for over a year. So he's really well established in Ohio. He's expected to win. And he gave a speech to a Ron Paul group, not Rand, Daddy, Ron Paul. And there was a report that he was booed off stage, and they booed him off stage and everything else. I went through that entire speech. There were some people in the crowd barking the F word at him in the beginning and at the end. They were not Republicans. They were obvious plants, either Antifa, Patriot Front, or some rhino hires, okay, to go in there and try to make it look like he wasn't MAGA and MAGA had rejected him. I watched his whole speech. It was as MAGA can be. Trump could have given that speech. And the crowd loved him, except at the beginning and the end, when there were some plants that were yelling the F word at him and saying, "Get off the stage," and everything else. And that was an effort to get a narrative going against Vivek Ramaswamy that MAGA has rejected Vivek in Ohio. The speech wasn't even in Ohio. It was in another state. Now a couple days later, we've got this Max Miller thing going on. So the Never Trumper rhinos are making a big move in Ohio, and they want to take control of Ohio in many ways, probably as a preemptive to try to stop J.D. Vance. You know, so goes Ohio, so goes the nation, right? Republicans, there's two states that are critically important for Republicans in the presidential election. Ohio and Florida are big ones, right? Ohio and Florida. And you got to understand, the Never Trumper rhinos would rather lose the presidential election if there's a MAGA candidate than win it. Okay? So the establishment are working really hard in Ohio against MAGA. I saw what they did to Vivek on Friday. It was disgusting. It was so fake. And maybe the reason the story died off is because it was so obvious that these were plants. I wish I could play it for you, but the language was so bad, you know. But that's what they're doing, and this is just what we have to do. Now, yesterday I was talking about Judge Janine, and the president actually talked in the Oval Office yesterday about Judge Janine. I might play some of it in a bit, but he was plenty upset with Judge Janine, President Trump, for dropping the charges. Let me see. Yeah, I got it right here. Let me play some of it. He went on for quite a while, but he is plenty ticked off at Judge. She should resign. She really should. She's totally compromised. Here's the president in the Oval Office press conference yesterday. Okay, now again, they're asking about Judge Janine dropping the charges against the Olympic swimmer for vandalism after she had secured a federal grand jury indictment. And remember, I was talking about this on yesterday's show. Judge Janine went on to say that there was no vandalism at the reflecting pool. It was all the incompetence of the contractors who did the work, she said in the court filing. This is yesterday.
It was built in 1922, and from the day it was built in Italy, Biden spent $58 million. Barack Hussein Obama spent much more than that. He said, "I have an idea. Let's take the water from the Potomac." So they took the water from the Potomac, and it was putrid. It was putrid. It was a disaster. Biden was a disaster. I said, "I'm going to get that fixed," along with Doug Burgum and Department of Interior. And we worked hard on that. Now, we worked hard on all 70. It's actually, I think, 81 now. You saw the new horses that just opened by the bridge with the gold. That was the way they were many years ago. Now they look better than they did many years ago. But these monuments look better than they did when they were originally built. Not just a little fix-up. We made them the way they were, plus. And everyone's so proud. The biggest, one of the bigger jobs was, not really the biggest, believe it or not, but one of the biggest was the reflecting pool. And we did a great job. We sandblasted the stone outside of the granite, so there's a long line. We did a great job. We got very expensive material to put on top of the surface that always leaked because it was stone. It was a stone surface. Always leaked. And we put it on. And it was beautiful. Now, we have photographs or tapes
That's right.
Ingredient that we know very well what it is. I'm not going to say the name because people get ideas. But and they put a terrible phrase, I won't say that either, but a terrible phrase on a massive piece of grass that we had just replaced. Killed the grass. We had to replace the grass. A lot of grass. In addition, they took knives or cutters and they cut the material. And they put their hands and they pulled it. And there was also some maintenance things that we would have routinely fixed. But we had that up and it was perfect. And then you had the bubblers, which get rid of the...
Okay, and he goes on, so we're running up close to the end of the hour. But President Trump, this was yesterday in the Oval Office, he said they've got the videos of the vandals committing these acts of vandalism. And he said that Judge Janine caved, she choked. He said that the judge was harassing her and her staff. I don't know what they did, what the judge did to them and her, but President Trump said she couldn't take the heat from the judge and she choked. She dropped the charges, and then she said in the court filings there was no vandalism. And what the president is doing is detailing the video evidence they have of the vandals committing the vandalism, specifically to the reflecting pool. So Judge Janine's got to go. She's totally compromised. She can't handle the heat. I get kind of like Bongino couldn't handle the heat and he quit. You know, and she was always a strong defender of his on Fox, and I don't question that. But maybe a lot of that, these are TV people. Maybe there's a lot of acting going on with that. I don't know. But she's not up to standing up to the DC swamp. She choked. She's compromised. She's got to go. All right, go back to Fox if they'll have her. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. It's 8 o'clock. Back right after this.
What if you could understand the Bible as one complete story? From creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy. Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams where Scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God revealed throughout the Bible. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution and gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or have been reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Again, the link is in the description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now. Are you looking for a smarter way to care for your skin and your hair? You can do just that with Valaya AI. Valaya AI is your personal AI wellness coach. With just a quick scan from your phone, Valaya AI analyzes your skin and hair in seconds, providing personalized recommendations for acne, hydration, wrinkles, pigmentation, dryness, hair health, and that's just the beginning. Using advanced artificial intelligence, Valaya AI creates customized morning and evening routines, recommends products tailored to your needs, and even adjusts your care based on the weather, UV index, and seasonal conditions. What are you waiting for? Download Valaya AI right now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store and discover a smarter, more personalized approach to skin and hair care. Learn more and see how Valaya works online at mindhatch.ca. That's mindhatch.ca. Valaya AI, healthy skin and hair powered by artificial intelligence. Some towns never forget, and some ghosts never leave. From author Alex Giles comes your next must-read book, The Ghost of Port St. Joe, a ghost story of the Florida coast. On this forgotten coast lies Port St. Joe. It's a town where a tragic past refuses to stay buried. When Alex discovers a mysterious gold locket, he awakens spirits trapped for nearly 2 centuries and uncovers a love story that death could never end. If you love Southern Gothic suspense, haunted history, unforgettable characters, and chilling mysteries, The Ghost of Port St. Joe will keep you turning pages late into the night. Order your copy right now on Amazon and Kindle, paperback, and hardcover edition, as well as Barnes & Noble, Apple Books, Smashwords, Kobo, and learn more on the author's website, alex-giles.com. Ghost of Port St. Joe from author Alex Giles. Order your copy today, because sometimes the dead are only waiting to be remembered.
All right, we are 1 minute away from returning. We're still in radio break. If you're on hold, stand by. If you would like to call in, the number is toll-free and pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Someone said Brian is a demon. Really? You think I'm a demon? How many demons take calls from people that don't like you? Want to excise me from, from Satan? My goodness. First time I think I've been called a demon. Surprised to hear liberals talking about that. All right, hang in there, 10 seconds. What's the name of that guy, the black scientist that took over Cosmos? What's his name? Can someone tell me? All right, the 8 o'clock hour has begun. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig, and of course, this is Florida's longest running radio show. Welcome back, one and all. If you're on hold, stand by. A couple things I want to bring up. One of them is I'd like to ask your thoughts on this, okay? And maybe you guys will think I'm nuts. But yesterday was trash day at my house, okay? And I was out and about yesterday doing some things, and I'm on the phone with my wife, okay? And she's in the living room, and we got a big window in the living room, and right before our garbage got picked up, we're on the phone talking, and she just shared this is because we're talking. Someone, when it opened up our garbage can, this was yesterday morning after I got off the air, and I'm on the phone with her. They opened up one of our garbage cans, waiting to be dumped by the garbage man. They hadn't gotten there yet. And we tie our garbage bags before we put them in the garbage. They tore open the garbage bag, turned it upside down, started going through it, and then took something and put it in their pocket. And my wife said it looked like clothing. And she's like, "You throw any clothing away?" Well, I do throw clothing away quite regularly because I still come across clothing that doesn't fit me anymore with all this weight I've lost from Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And I said, well, I threw away some old underwear and an old T-shirt. So it's either she says, well, it was small. And I was like, well, I guess they got my old underwear. I don't know. But who would want that? Some kind of freak. I hope they don't have my old underwear. That's pretty crazy. But anyway, and, I don't know if this happens in your neighborhood, but we have bulk every week. And there's every week, because we have bulk pickup every week in my neighborhood, every week there's a group of scavengers. They start the night before, because sometimes people take their garbage out the night before. I take mine out in the morning. But, people do not. We have these scavengers that go through everyone's garbage looking for stuff to salvage. And I understand that it is legal to do so, all right? The swale in front of your house is not your property. It is public property. And once you put your garbage out there to be picked up, it's considered not yours anymore. And it is legal for people to do this, okay? And so I understand, but just because something is legal doesn't mean it's okay, all right? And I just don't like it. To me, it feels like a violation. I hate it. I've never liked it. And a lot of times, I shouldn't share this because it's petty. I do one thing that's kind of petty. Okay. I shouldn't tell. Oh, whatever. I'm deep into it now. I might as well finish. I shouldn't even be talking about this at all on the air. Okay. We have a lot of cats. Okay. So I change out the cat litter. Sometimes a lot of times I wait until trash day or the night before to change all the litter in the box, and I dump it on top of the top bags in the trash can so it's covered in cat litter so people won't go through my garbage and take stuff. And I did not do that this week, okay? And I was thinking to myself, and my wife told me this, I wish I would have, okay, this particular week. It just seemed, here's somebody who's got my old underwear, and you may not think that's a big deal, but it isn't that like a violation? Now, if it was a woman's underwear, you would say creeper, wouldn't you? I don't know. I know it seems petty, and perhaps I shouldn't share so much, but I don't like these garbage scavengers that go through people's garbage cans. And I don't know if this happens in your neighborhood. Maybe it doesn't happen in all neighborhoods. Maybe I'm just in a neighborhood that has a lot of nice things that people throw away. I've got one guy on my street. I'm not a pack rat, so I throw a lot of things out. For bulk because I don't like a lot of stuff, right? And there's one guy on my street for years. Every bulk day when I've thrown stuff out, he takes it. And I always imagine that if I ever went into his house, it would look like my house because he has all my crap that I've thrown away over the years. But I know there's more. I know these are what they call white people problems. But it's just, to me, it seems like a violation. And that's one of the reasons I don't take my garbage out until the morning. And, and if they didn't come in the morning, I would wait until the afternoon to take it out because I don't want people going through my garbage. And I know it's legal. I know they're not doing anything wrong. And I know a lot of people, when they go around and pick up people's garbage and resell it, they make some money. I was once, this was nuts. This happened to me a few years ago. I'm not big into yard sales, but I went to a yard sale, not in my neighborhood, but a couple developments over from mine. This was a couple years ago. I went to a yard sale, and they were selling some of my stuff that I threw out in bulk. I had a bench in my backyard that was rotted and falling apart because it had been outside for years. It was a nice bench when I got it, but it was wood. It was rotting. It was falling apart, and it gets bugs and everything else because it was under a tree. They were selling my rotted bench at this garage sale a couple developments over. I couldn't believe it. I called my wife. I said, "You're not going to believe what they're selling here. They're selling our bench from the backyard that's rotted." And they had a couple other things of mine too. So I know a lot of people do that, but I just don't like it. Okay. Now I know people got worse problems in their neighborhoods. Okay. Maybe you got a neighborhood that's got a lot of crimes, and everything else. I just got a bunch of trash pickers. I don't like it. And sometimes I couldn't believe it. It was my bench was in their front yard. And I'm thinking, I can't believe this. Oh my goodness. I know. Am I petty? Or do you find it a violation too? And when I put something that's big out that they take away, okay, fine, I get it, Like I got a new refrigerator, and so I took the old refrigerator out to bulk. Somebody took it, that's fine. But when they get to the point where they're ripping the garbage bags open and going through the garbage bag itself, that's where I kind of draw the line, of bugging me. Now that's just me. I don't know. If you have any thought, am I petty and pathetic and nitpicky, or do you feel the same way? Now again, what I'm talking about is opening. They went in the garbage can. They ripped open the garbage bag. They turned it upside down, emptied it, went into it, and took some old underwear of mine that doesn't fit me anymore because I've lost so much weight with Coastal Weight Loss Secret, and put it in, and my wife said they put it in their pocket. That's freaky, man. That's freaky. Let me talk about Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment. You know, the thing about Dr. Appleton and the laser wave pain treatment, it's not just a laser, it's a robotic laser, okay? And this is very important. I probably don't talk about this aspect of it enough. This is the cool thing about the robotic laser. The robotic laser actually moves around the whole area that's being treated, right? So I'll use my knee as an example, but this is true of any body part. Dr. Appleton, he's good. He can determine exactly where the pain is coming from in your body, right? So he focuses in on that area. So if he determines, okay, the knee pain is coming from this spot, right? And that's where he starts. But the laser, because it's robotic, moves around the entire body part, which includes the knee. So it doesn't just treat on top of where the pain is. It treats on the side, the bottom, the other side, and then back on top, okay? And that's true. My shoulder, the same thing. Dr. Appleton, the pain was right here in the front of my shoulder, but the robotic laser moved around, treated there, treated the side, the top, the back. And the robotic laser, it moves around the entire area and is actually repairing the damage that is causing the pain. That's why the pain doesn't return, but he's treating it with robotic laser from every possible angle. It's absolutely amazing. And I'm pain-free now. 7 times he's treated me and rid me of pain, and none of the pains have returned. Remember, the consultation is free. Walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. Give Dr. Appleton a call. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. We'll take our first break at the 8 o'clock hour and be right back. Okay, so I'm going to call Steve. You know, Steve wasn't going to come on today, and then he just texted me. He's coming on after the break because I'm talking about the garbage. Because he sent me I got a text from him at the top of the hour. He's going to take today off, and then I knew I was going to get a text when I was talking about the garbage, and sure enough, he's going to come on after the break to save me from talking about the garbage. All right, hold on. I'll be getting him on the line. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Yep. All right, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Steve's joining us. Hey, Steve.
Morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm always doing well. I'm always doing well, even though there's this strange man with my old underwear running around. But we were talking. Hey, listen, when you have men stealing your underwear, your old underwear, that's what perverts do. We were talking during the break a little bit, though, about what President Trump's doing in Iran. You had some thoughts?
Yes, we're not doing.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, yeah, my thoughts are I knew you'd be defensive of him.
Not defensive.
Which is good. But I just don't see it the same way. Every time he agrees to negotiate, he comes off as weak. And people are ready. I roll my eyes every time I hear, well, we're going to go in and we don't want to kill anybody, so we're going to wait. These people can't be negotiated with. Every military person that Fox has on the air says you can't negotiate with these people because they don't mean it. And it doesn't matter if you get a deal. It doesn't matter because you have to live up a deal in the past. Never. They've never lived up to a deal. And it just makes them look bad. And even the advisors, Kellogg, they have some great advisors in the military and on Fox. And I get a lot of respect for most of them. But even they're starting to get edgy a little bit because they realize that he's losing credibility.
I don't think so. He has President.
Well, you never think so.
President Trump.
That's my point.
Well, I'm not worried about these retired lieutenant colonels and retired admirals and all these people on Fox.
But
President Trump has
what
the.
I'm saying is, the reason I brought them up is because they have a history of supporting Trump, whatever he does.
Mm-hmm.
I support Trump, but that doesn't mean he doesn't make drastic mistakes, and he loses credibility every time. We're going to go in and cut their heads off, and a week later they're sitting back at the.
Well, there's a couple things, and I'll share with you. Okay, one, he has the best military advisor he could possibly have, and that's General Kane.
He's got a bunch of them.
General Kane, who defeated ISIS in like 2 weeks. Okay. So,
there's a split, between Trump's advisors on the war. You know that, right?
No. Who says that? Where's that come from? No, I don't.
Well, Fox, where I get most of those things they have.
I don't know if that's true.
But, they were saying that he ought to consider following through and pulling the trigger already, and most of them have figured out the reason why. Because you can't make an agreement with people who are untrust, have a proven history of not living up to their word. You can't give me one example where these mullahs or whatever the hell they are in Iran have ever made a promise and kept it.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, if President Trump, he said that this airstrike that he called off was the biggest air campaign the U.S. had launched since the Second World War. Now,
I know, I heard the whole
so if
story.
that's true, that's a pretty big deal because we had some pretty big airstrikes in the Gulf War and the Iraq War and Afghanistan. So what he's talking about is
Well, you know they're going to break it. You know they're going to break it, right?
What, Iran? Yeah, they're lying.
Yeah.
They're liars. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, and they have no history of ever once historically living up to their word on one thing.
But see, no, but
and every time.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's bad enough. But that's bad enough. But the real bad problem is that he thinks he's accomplishing something. And I'm telling you, I'm a devoted follower of Donald Trump, but again, we always have this thing, I have limits. There's enough is enough. Donald Trump's credibility is the most important thing he's got. And every time he sits down, it's like giving them a win.
A lot of these retired military people, a lot of them work for military contractors. A lot of these military experts that you see on cable news. Well, they have interest in what they all want is a land invasion. If President Trump would have, and he may have to do this at some point, if he were to do this massive World War II Dresden-like bombing campaign of Iran, what happens is, what is a controlled aerial operation all of a sudden is no longer a war, it's a humanitarian crisis. So it would cause a humanitarian crisis among the civilians that would require us to go in to take care of that. And then you would have this Iranian Revolutionary Guard insurgency as like we had in Iraq. That wouldn't be good. No, you don't want that. We don't want a land war with an insurgency. And that's what that would have done. I think he made the right. And what President Trump is doing, and I think they've been with General Kane's brilliant military advice, I think what they've done is perfection. And 6 months ago, outside of the United States, Iran was the military superpower of the Middle East. Now they're a third world nation that are basically like the Somali pirates used to be that would hijack those cargo ships from time to time. They're not a threat militarily to us anymore. They're just not. So why?
They can mess up the shipping lanes.
Yeah, they can cause a little harassment. There'll be a little harassment here. But if we had to go in to fix the humanitarian crisis that would be caused by a massive bombing campaign, all of a sudden we'd be in a ground war, like we were in Iraq for years. It would be, and we would lose a lot of people. So
that's why we're not trying to win.
I think we won. I think we won the war on day one when we killed the Ayatollah. I think we've already won the war.
What it's like, if this is what winning looks like, I don't get it.
I think we won the war.
All right, well, let's see what the audience thinks.
Well, let me give out the number. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are, 888-465-2631. We don't have any boots on the ground. And a lot of these military people on the different cable networks, they work for these military industrial companies, and they want a ground war to prolong it. One of the reasons that we keep getting all these reports that we're running out of Patriot missiles is they're trying to get the government to buy more of them. So I don't.
Well, that would be nice. Don't you think?
I don't think we're running out. I don't think we're out. I don't think we're running out.
No, it's not out, but we're low.
Okay, hold on.
Very low, dangerously low.
All right, hold on, Steve. Let me.
If you had a kid over there, you know how it feels.
Okay, hold on, Steve. Let me answer all these phones that are coming in. You want to take a call or two before we break?
Sure.
Okay, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
John from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, John.
Hey, John, what's up?
Jay, I just caught the tail end of the conversation, so I'm no expert on anything. But I guess to win a war, you got to defeat the enemy by destroying their resources. Why don't we do that by taking, like, that Karg Island or anything they use to generate?
Well, that's the big one. That's the point. That's the point. If they took Karg Island, it would change the whole thing around, but he won't do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's a $1 million question.
Well, okay. Now, the one thing is
we got to do it and then bail.
A couple things. One, Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll answer your question about Karg Island.
I say you just before that, destroy everything that generates revenue for them, including our enemies that are on their working on their behest. Take and
We're doing it, but not enough.
Resources. What's that?
I say we're doing that half-heartedly, but not enough. The Carg Island would end the game.
What would it do though to the?
And
What would it do?
I'll tell you why I'm torn. I've got a son that's in the service that is probably going to end up in the field. As a father, it gives me a personal interest in the thing beyond a casual interest.
Sure.
And I think we're not going to get anywhere this way. We're just not going to get anywhere this way because you can't make an agreement with people who are not bargaining in good faith. And I think everybody but Don on the team seems to know that that's the case. They can't be trusted. They're not bargaining in good faith.
Not to
I
mention
like your Carter Island suggestion.
Yeah, you know.
All right.
Well,
okay, thank you.
Well, listen, we got to run for the.
Take everything that generates money and get out.
We got to run for the break, but thanks for the call. All right, you make some good points. All right, you take care. I want to talk about life imaging. You know, we're in August, and August is National Wellness Month, okay? And this is really awesome because you can make August your annual heart checkup with life imaging. You know, there's so many things you do every year like clockwork. You go to the dentist, which we'll talk about later. You with Dr. Gupta, right? You go to your primary care for your annual physical. You want to go to life imaging every year and get your heart scan too. And if you do it in August, it's National Wellness Month. It's easy to remember, like clockwork, every year to go in. You know, a lot of our listeners, Steve, are going in as couples. They're both going in for the heart scan, and that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And, you know, what August can be is it can be the month that you stop wondering about your health and start knowing, all right? Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan valued at $699 with a few minimum requirements. Now, also this, when you're over at Life Imaging, make sure you ask about their full body cancer screening and virtual colonography and say goodbye to sedation. Call right now for your free heart scan with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250, just say free heart scan, and you will be connected in seconds. Remember, they have locations in Palm Beach County, Broward County, Dade County, and Orlando. We'll be right back. All right, Steve, I'm going to put you on hold. All right? Hold on. Hold on.
What if you could understand the Bible as one complete story, from creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy? Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams where Scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God to the fulfillment of. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution and gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or have been reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Again, the link is in the description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now.
Now listen, guys, there's a link to that Bible study in the description of the video. Check it out. It's a very good Bible study, and it's put together by someone who's a listener of the program. So if you could support them at the same time you're supporting me by checking out the Bible study, I'd appreciate it. Again, the link is in the description, okay? Let me check the time. Okay. All right. Steve, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we got about 90 seconds. All right, so hang in there.
Okay.
All right, less than 30 seconds.
All right. Can we pick up where we left
I know
off?
where to, yeah, I know where to go. So. All right, Steve, I wanted to respond to the caller because I didn't have time because we had the break for the bottom, but he asked, why don't we just take Carg Island, right? There's two things going on here. Well, actually three, okay? And one of them is President Trump is a he said this over the weekend, he's a very, very strong Christian man who is very concerned about his place in heaven. And he said on Air Force One on Sunday, I don't want to kill people, okay? So,
he says it over and over.
Well, that's a good quality. I think he's the first true Bible-believing Christian we've had.
It's a good quality. It's a good quality for the everyday person that you go to church with. But it's not a great quality
Sure it is.
when it comes to war.
Well,
because the object of war has to be to win it. And he's not.
I think we won it on day one.
He's not.
Yeah, we won it.
Then what is he supposed to be negotiating about now?
I don't know. Well, Well, what's happened is Iran has moved from a world power to a nuisance. They're basically just a nuisance now. They're not a power anymore.
I think it's beyond a nuisance. It's beyond a nuisance.
Nah, but there's
the ability to destroy trade worldwide. When you're in that kind of an economic situation, believe me, it's a different story.
No, there's a couple things here. Okay, I'll do the I'll tell you the Carg Island second. But the first one I mentioned to you already, but I'll give you a little more detail. Okay, because you mentioned you have a child in the service. You know, if he did a massive bombing campaign, we would have to send the army in after to get control of the situation because it would be a humanitarian disaster, right? So once that happens, we're in a ground war because the IRGC would form a guerrilla army, an insurgency like we had in Iraq. And they know how to do that because they were behind the Iraq insurgency, and we'll have a 10, 20-year guerrilla war going on where men and women in our military are going to be getting killed for years. So I think it's a wise decision to try not to get in that situation, right? Don't you? I mean,
there's no problem with trying, but what he is trying is not working.
What's Iran doing to us? They can't even attack us anymore. They haven't been able to do anything to us.
They closed down as of last night. I haven't read the morning paper, but as of last night, they've managed to close down the Straits of Hormuz, which is central to the world economy.
No, hold on. I'm going to answer these lines here. Hold on one second, Steve. The phones are ringing off. So that's one thing. The second thing about Carg Island, because I'm not an economist, I'm not an expert on such things, but gasoline prices have been pretty stable. You know, they've gone up and down a little bit here and there. If he goes and takes out Carg Island and all these things, what impact would that have on the global oil economy?
Because everybody's selling to everybody.
Well, couldn't it cause the oil to go through the roof?
You don't think that China is buying oil from Iran?
I don't think they can get the oil out unless we let them. I know they'd like to, but I don't think they are.
But I'd like to hear him say it and mean it, and actually do it.
Because
I don't know, these people, you can't negotiate with people who are inveterate liars.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah, I know.
So maybe you can, I'll leave an open mind. What can he do to get them to sign that he hasn't already done?
It doesn't matter if they sign because they'll just back out of it tomorrow. If they sign today, they'll back out of it tomorrow.
Right now, but that's my side of the argument.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think he's really all that interested in them actually signing something because he knows it's not worth anything.
So he's lying?
No, I think when you're running a war that there's certain things you keep secret. and you misdirecting things.
Well, nothing.
That's not lying.
You know that he has close press conferences, and this is one of his strongest qualities. He calls press conferences night and day. And he takes his position, and he spins it out to the American people, and we all say yes, yes, yes.
Right.
But how many times do we say yes, 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 and go through the same routine again?
I just don't.
I mean, the bottom line is you, as a devotee of Donald Trump, can't say one thing that he would do different. You don't think he should bomb Carter?
I think he has more information about everything than we do, and I trust his decision-making ability. And I trust his decision-making abilities.
Although we don't have much option, but...
well, that's true with any president.
I trust on. I think you hit the nail on the head. If you want to know the agreement, you hit the nail on the head when you talk about his value of life. He really doesn't like to kill people, but that's a devastating quality in a leader.
Well, he has killed people, though.
You want to be able to do what you have to do.
But he has killed people.
Yeah, but it's reluctant. He keeps bringing it up all the time. It's to his credit as a human being, but that doesn't mean that's necessarily a good war strategy. And more of his advisors is speaking out in private, telling him he's got to really go after these people. What he's done up till now has been largely cosmetic.
I want to take a moment, though, to talk about Dr. Gupta and Brighton Dental.
Oh, my favorite dentist.
Yeah. Well, he's the only dentist. I didn't know there were any others. He's
I've got a lot of...
he's the only one I've ever heard of.
It's funny. I've been neglecting my teeth. After warning everybody and telling everybody the dangers, I've been neglecting my teeth, and I'm going to go in next month. I'm going to have a deal of work done. But I don't worry about it with Dr. Gupta because he's painless, and he is just a delight. He's done great work for me and a lot of Steve Kane listeners. And, you know, it's Richie's favorite dentist.
Yeah.
Richie's been telling us about him for a while. So for those of you out there who, have been neglecting your teeth, now's the time to do something about it. I mean, the one thing about tooth problems, and this is an obvious truth, but unless you deal with them, they're going to get worse and worse and more expensive. Speaking of expense, Dr. Gupta, very, very reasonably priced, and he gives special deals for Steve Kane listeners. You're going to love him. He's the greatest dentist I ever had. And you got his number over there?
Well, of course I do. So I'm going to give you Dr. Gupta's number. Give him a call, 954-922-4633, 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. All right, now, hold on, so let me answer all the phones that are coming in. Those of you that are on hold, stand by because we're going to take our break here in a moment, and after the Gold Report, we'll go to the phones. But you know, whoever the president is, we have no choice but to follow them because they're the decider. But President Trump is different in many ways, and I just trust his judgment. He's never made a bad decision that I know of yet. Why would he start now, Steve? You know?
You're right until you're wrong.
Okay.
I mean, it's just every time I hear the words that we're going to get them to the negotiating table, I roll my eyes.
Okay, well, let me put
every time he says that, it's basically conceding that they win.
Okay, I'm going to put you and everyone on hold. We'll take our break and be right back. And it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report from his office in Boca. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking today?
Metal's looking very strong today after yesterday's rally on gold and silver. Gold yesterday trading at a range of $4,018 on the low all the way up to $4,083 and closed out today up $12.80 at $4,054.50. Silver was up 63 cents, closing out today at $58.06. Platinum lost $17 at $16.27, and palladium was down $12 at $12.44. Overnight, we saw gold trade in the range as low as $4,042 and on up to $4,080. Right now, we're at $4,077. That's up $22.50 the ounce. Silver up $1.54 at $59.65. Platinum up $93 today.
Wow.
That's up $1,720. And palladium up $71 at $1,315. So it looks like all the metals are trying to break out. And if we can, we'll get through this $4,100 and something dollar lid that we've had on gold and $60 for silver. We could see a nice move to the upside this week.
Yeah, things are looking good. And platinum, that's awesome. You know, we don't talk too much about platinum, but can you tell people a little bit about the platinum coins that you have? Because they're really beautiful.
Yeah, we have a nice assortment of platinum coins from all the different countries that make them, and they are very beautiful. And they're, of course, platinum is 15 times rarer than gold, so it's very underpriced right now. Great buying opportunity for platinum buyers.
Yeah, and what's the American platinum coin?
Yeah, there's a platinum eagle that the United States makes.
Yeah.
They're very beautiful.
It is. Well, listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. Stop by his shop in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. The address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. Give him a call, toll free, 800-327-5010, 800-327-5010. And find both his address and phone number on his website, williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care. All right, yeah, those platinum coins are awesome. They're really pretty. All right, you want to take some calls, Steve?
Yes, let's do that.
All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's James from Ohio.
Hey, Ohio.
How you doing?
Hey, James.
You're having a great morning. Hey, buddy. Hey, I just wanted to agree with a few points you made. Brian, I really don't agree with you. I agree more with the other caller that's on the line.
Yeah, well, that's good. You don't have to agree with me. It's okay. It's allowed.
The other guy is Steve, by the way.
My reason being why I don't agree is, so you said Iran can't strike us back. And this is the thing. They have almost a residual income of drone parts, and they're manufacturing drones. And we have to take into account warfare has changed. So a middle power like Iran can launch these drones, launch these missiles, and cause real havoc. That's why we just lost 3 service members about a week ago. And I feel like we're really underestimating their
We've lost 19, right? Around about, is it 19?
Yeah, 19 too many, buddy. Like,
well, one's too many. One's too many. But when you consider how many, we haven't gotten any counts on how many the Iranians have lost. It's got to be in the thousands upon thousands.
They've lost over 3,000.
More.
Listen, we're always going to kill more than they do. But guess what? They have 90 million people that probably hate our guts now. And for example, in Desert Storm, I believe we've lost a few tanks. And that was it. I mean, it was flawless.
Yeah.
But warfare has changed so much where a country that's financially broke, doesn't have crap, can make these drones, and these drones can cause real havoc. I mean, I heard it carries a 50-kilogram warhead. I mean, that's a pretty big thing.
Corey, can I ask you a question? Do you agree with me that every time our president gives them a delay, to negotiate, it comes off at this point like he's losing, and we're losing. You feel that way?
Yes. Every time
There's
he
your
says
answer.
we're going to strike him, every time we're going to strike him real hard, and then he comes out in a couple days and posts this post that says, "I talked to Pakistan, I talked to Qatar. They don't want me to strike." Like, who's really running the show here? I believe it's a sign of weakness, to be honest with you. I'm very disappointed. But I'm also not agreeing with you on the Card Island thing, because I don't want to lose any more of our boys and girls. And
well, you're assuming that you're assuming it can be done. It can't be done without ground troops, and I'm not sure that's true.
No, I'm not assuming that it can't be done with ground troops. I think it needs to be done in more of a specialized way, where Special Forces goes in and out. We're not taking any land. We're just going in, fucking with them.
All right, okay. All right, first dump of the day, Mike. First dump of the day. All right. If you're on hold, stand by while we wait for the delay to re-engage. Oh, my goodness. Class act, Steve. You got the classy crowd on your side. Oh, my goodness.
Well, I don't know. It made sense.
First dump of the day is the guy that agrees with you, I tell you. While we're waiting for the delay to re-engage, though, if you're on hold, stand by. It gives me an opportunity to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas. You know, annuities are amazing. And, you know, we talk a lot about how your money's not at risk and you're guaranteed that monthly check every month gets deposited into your bank account. And, you know, one thing, when people plan for their retirement, they plan so much. And what I've come to realize is one thing people don't plan on is when one of the couple, the husband or the wife, pass away, you lose one of your Social Security checks. And that's one thing. It seems obvious, you lose one of the Social Security checks, but people don't plan. When they plan their retirement, they're looking at their monthly income, what they need to pay their bills, and what they factor in are 2 Social Security checks. So what do you do to make up that money from the lost Social Security check when your spouse passes? Well, that's what an annuity can do. You know, you get that monthly check every month from that annuity, and it makes up the check from your spouse that has passed away. Maybe you're a senior who's struggling with your monthly income because your husband or wife passed away some time ago. Stop struggling. Call Joe Thomas, talk to him about annuities, and replace that lost Social Security check from your spouse who passed away with that monthly check from an annuity. Schedule your no-charge consultation right now, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. And online, jupiterjoe.com. All right. So, yeah, that's right, guys. That's the number. The thing with Iraq, I mean, if Steve, it were up to me, I'd carpet bomb them, all of them, because I just don't have any patience. You know, I'm short on attention span, but President Trump's very patient. And, you know, look at what happened in Iraq. We defeated, in the Iraq War, not Gulf War I, but the second Gulf War, we defeated Iraq so quick, but then that war ended up lasting like 15 years because of the insurgency. And if we do the things that you and the last caller were talking about, we're going to end up being an occupying force in Iran with an insurgency. And to me, that seems like the opposite of what you would want. In the short term, it might.
I don't see how you. I don't know how you reach the conclusion that that's what would happen.
Because if we bombed them at that level, you're talking about the power plants, everything. It would. There's 90 million Iranians. Most of them are civilians, and it would be. We would have to send the military in for the humanitarian crisis that would follow an air campaign like that.
These are the musings of somebody that is not a closer here. We talk a lot about closing in our business. He's got to close this out, and it's not closing. And worse than that is he's losing credibility with the American people. And I think that's showing up in the polls, and I think he's got to get it straightened out quick. And I think he will. And the bottom line, eventually, he'll do it, but it's taking too long.
Okay. I disagree. But, hey, listen, we'll find out soon. He probably will do that big airstrike. It's just a matter of when. He's eventually going to have to do it.
No time like the present.
When he does it, it'll be the right time, right? I mean, I don't see what the rush is. What's the rush? Why does this have to be done yesterday? That's what I don't understand.
It's going to drag on forever unless we break the cycle. He's got to break the cycle, and instead of threatening to I love the word he uses, decapitate. Instead of him decapitating the Iranians, he's not decapitating them. He's letting it cook on and on and on. And again, I can tell because my eyes are on automatic. They start to roll when he starts using. When I hear the word negotiation coming, I say, I don't want to call the president a fool because I don't believe that. But I think it's safe to say it's a foolish decision.
Yeah.
I mean, if we haven't learned by now, these people are not going to give up till they're dead. We're never going to learn it.
All right,
until we do.
Well, let me answer some of these calls. Okay, hold on. Let me answer some of these calls. The delay has re-engaged. Okay. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Mark from Michigan.
Hey, Michigan.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, yeah. Good morning, guys. I just calling to say I'm a fan of the show. I don't agree with most of the stuff, but I just like Brian. I like Brian's personality and your other caller. You guys are cool guys. I'm going to vote today. I'm a Democrat, and I'm going to vote in the Haley Stevens and Abdul Saeed race.
Who are you going? Are you going to vote for Abdul?
I have to. He's
Why?
a generational talent.
What?
He's just a generational.
Where? Tell me where you were on 9/11.
Where was I? I was in Michigan.
What were you doing? Do you remember it?
Yes, I was.
Who were you with? What were you doing?
I had to pick up my kid from school early that day because when they got attacked.
When they got attacked? Don't you mean when we got attacked? What do you mean they got attacked? Are you an American or a Canadian?
When I say they, I meant New Yorkers.
Come on. Something's fishy here. We got attacked, not they. Listen, you got to turn down. We're almost out of time, but the echo on the phone. Something's off with that caller, Steve. When they got attacked?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail
Canadian.
on the head when you guess Canadian.
Canadian. Yeah, Canadian. Fake American. Stolen valor. Stolen valor. Fake American. Oh, my goodness. Well, we're about out of time for the day. They got attacked. I tell you, you guys don't think that we listen to these callers. We listen to every syllable of every word that they say because so much is revealed in just simple little words like that, huh? When they got attacked. I've never heard anyone say that before.
You nailed it that time.
No, boy. Oh, boy. Well, that's all the time we have for today. The show has flown by. I can't believe it. But we'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. taking your calls. So if you're on hold, hang in there. Because if you stay on hold, you'll be first in line tomorrow morning. All right? You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. God bless America. God bless the greatest president ever, Donald Trump. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Take care. Oh, man. Did you hear that guy? He says when they got attacked on 9/11. What do you guys think about that? He didn't say when we got attacked, when they got attacked. Oh, my goodness. Have you ever heard anyone say that? You know what that is? A lot of Canadians, 80% of Canadians live within 150 miles of the U.S. border. So a lot of Canadians, they watch American television and things like that. All right, let me take one call, then I got to run because I'm very busy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Oh, hey, Brian. This is the
Hey, guys,
post.
how are you?
This is the post show, but you're on the post show on YouTube.
Okay. I don't want to say it's obviously, but there's, I think, I'm pretty sure the President Trump, he knows something that we don't know. Because he'll pull the trigger on these guys when he's certain about something. I think there's something that he doesn't, that he knows that we don't know. And if I was to speculate on what it could be, I'm thinking maybe they're trying to track down some terror cells that are loose. Maybe in this country, maybe in one of the Mideast countries and that.
There's something going on. President Trump's got a reason. He's got a reason.
Yeah. He's definitely got a reason. I know it doesn't look good. The optics aren't good. But I have a confidence in him that there's something going on, and we don't know. But he does. And I think they're working on something. My guess is maybe they're trying to track down terror cells or something like that.
That's a good. If it's not that, it's something. You know,
something along those lines. Yeah.
You know what I was trying to explain to Steve is that if we go in with a massive campaign and you create a humanitarian crisis, that forces us to send in the Army and Marines. Then you're going to have a guerrilla war with what's left of the Revolutionary Guard. That could go on for 20 years, like in Afghanistan. You don't want to do that.
Well, absolutely. Do we want to get into another Afghanistan in 20 years? And if we just wait, and I know it's frustrating, and I get frustrated too. Let's just wait these guys out a little bit.
And I'm not really interested in what General Keane has to say on Fox. He looks like he's been embalmed.
Yeah, well.
Doesn't he?
Well, that's what I'm talking about, the optics, you know.
Yeah. He looks like...
A little bit.
Yeah.
You know. But, he's a good guy, I think. But
he's a good guy, but he looks like he puts on the makeup they put on the corpses. He does not look...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm right.
He really does.
Yeah.
I do.
And he got really and he's very moody. He got really nasty a couple months ago with Will Kane when Will Kane introduced him. And do you remember this? And Will Kane in the afternoon, when he introduced General Kane, went through some of his bio, his credentials, and General Kane got nasty with him about it. It was really weird.
Really?
Yeah, he's moody. Well, he's an old, he's a corpse. He's an old man, so he's moody. But I
think he wanted those credentials to be known to the public, but maybe not, I guess.
I don't know. But I think you're right, though, about President Trump. He's getting all his ducks in a row.
He is. I think he's ready to go. I mean, they can do that anytime. But like they say, getting another quagmire, do we really need that if we're just maybe tracking down a threat that we don't know about, that he knows about? And maybe it takes a long time to run the intelligence on just to make sure. I would rather be safe than sorry. And I don't want to get another 20-year war in Afghanistan and Vietnam and all that. We've had enough of that. Let's wait a little bit.
I think me personally, I think it's better to have Iran in the nuisance Somali pirate level of problems for decades than get involved in a ground insurgency. That's just me, you know.
Well, we already took out their Navy and their Air Force and all this. The only thing we may not have taken out of that, I'm thinking, is maybe a terror cell someplace.
Maybe.
Somebody's deep undercover we can't get to yet, but we got a pretty good idea where they are. That would explain a lot.
All right, some good points were made. Listen, I'm going to run, but I appreciate the call.
Okay, Brian, have a great day.
All right, take care. Well, listen, guys, thanks for watching. If you're new, welcome to the program, and please subscribe, okay? I am live every day of the week, 7 days. And anytime I'm in the studio, like now, I am taking live calls. All opinions are welcome. And if everyone could please like the video, if you've not already done it, please like the video, because when you like the video, you get the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So please do me the favor of liking the video if you don't mind. All right, guys, take care. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. See you next time. Take care.